Okay, now we should actually be live on YouTube. What did it take me? 3 minutes? Wait, are you guys, is it also bleeped on YouTube? Oh, you guys are just saying because you can't see it. Of course, you can't see it yet. Okay, so there shouldn't be bleeping on YouTube, which means that the recording of the show will be saved because I can just use the audio from OBS because the show's recorded twice. I have some redundancy on it. Okay, now we're live. If you're just joining in on YouTube, we have an interesting situation going on, which is TikTok has rolled out a new change. And please let me know if the YouTube stream is actually working. I don't know why people aren't showing up to it. Maybe it has to be set to 18 plus to not be bleeped. That would be interesting. I'd be kind of okay with that. Like, I figure I have some young viewers, but I don't allow underage callers, so I wouldn't actually be too worried about that. There we go. All right, thanks for lighting up the YouTube chat. Sorry for the delay getting live on YouTube, everybody, but we're dealing with a very interesting situation, which is that now apparently people are getting auto-bleeped on TikTok. So the people who are listening on TikTok, which is only 100 people because I've been sitting here yapping about this problem, are hearing me get bleeped. Like, okay, like if I say ass, like tell me, like that's a pretty, I said the ASS word. Tell me if ASS got bleeped. Okay, it did? Ass gets bleeped? Oh my god. What is going on? We need to burn TikTok down. New platform, everybody. But that, you know, I mean, the reason I use TikTok, even though I don't like the censorship on there, is because it allows me to connect with so many people. And there's a thing about the way that I like to do my content, which is that I really try not to edit my moments of discourse that I put out there at all. You may have noticed that my clips on Instagram that get lots of views are always like 3-minute clips without a single cut in them. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to advertise the live version of this show, the VOD version of this show. That's what I'm really about, is driving people here. Oh my God. Kate, are you telling me that the YouTube stream is also hearing the bleep? That doesn't make any sense to me because the YouTube stream is just hearing this microphone not passed through TikTok. I don't know. Bizarre. Maybe my recording will be bleeped, but that doesn't really make sense to me. Anyway, I hinder my ability to promote myself by not editing my shorts. It's not because I'm lazy. It's because I think that it's hard to prove to somebody in a short video that you're good at talking if the video is cut to shit. Like, think about like Philip DeFranco style like smash cut editing where you just yammer at a camera, but then you go and you clear all the dead air, or you get to restate something and like cut out a little irrelevant aside you had or something like that. And I have a lot of clips that get ruined by like some little brief interruption. Like my dog barks and I say, "Oh, I'm sorry, my dog was barking." And that clip is just ruined because I'm unwilling to have a cut in any of my clips because I think for the sake of being honest with the audience, it's just like, here's me in real time navigating this conversation. So I don't like the idea of being bleeped at all, though perhaps, silver linings, perhaps this will mean that we get to be more free with what we say, right? Like maybe the benefit here is that instead of getting a 3-day ban for accidentally saying something that you're not supposed to say, who's, oh my God, what is it showing me? Sorry, I'm like so distracted by trying to figure all this stuff out. Maybe it's, maybe we don't have to worry so much about the 3-day bans and the perma bans for mixing up in some way. So I'm just going to try to proceed with the show as is usual. I'm going to try to ignore the issue. So hopefully we can get a caller in here. So if people want to start double tapping away on the screen if you haven't been already. Only 5,000 likes while I sit here and yammer about a tech issue for 8 minutes. Unsurprising. I'm going to take the L for that one. But yeah, let's get the stream pushed out on the For You page and let's get some new callers in here so we can see what TikTok is like now. Because as an influencer, we kind of just live like riding the TOS wave, right? So, we'll just do that. I do, by the way, have some people to thank because some donations came in before the show. Anne sent me $20 on Venmo. What did she say? She had a message. She just said, keep going, man. I keep getting messages like that where people are like, go, go, go. And it's so exciting that people just want me to succeed in that way. Especially people like Jason, who sent me $250. He said, get after it. I have a lot of admiration for what you do. Listening to how you navigate difficult conversations is inspiring. Good luck. So Jason sent me more money than a person needs to make in a day to survive in 2026 in America. And because I'm trying to like pay for my life doing this, like he knows what he did. I may have stalked him a little bit. I may have Googled him. I may have like found his LinkedIn page and be like, you have a really interesting job, Jason. But I just love that there's somebody out there who has some disposable income and wanted to spend it like, on me. I'm like flattered. I'm hugely flattered that you wanted to make my life $250 easier, which is a huge chunk. That's I'm in this battle with my bills where it's like I can be an influencer. I can make internet videos for a living. But, I just have to do the math and make sure that if I'm going to run out of money or whatever, that I need to, like, go get other employment. I need to, like, be an adult about it. So that, that concern just got farther away. Just got pushed $250 farther away. I get to, like, every little bit helps. Every little donation just means I get to take this a little bit more seriously. And I don't need to worry as much about, like, what my exit strategy is if I can plan for farther, all that stuff. So, Jason, thank you. Seriously. Anyway, no callers today. Is TikTok over? Are the debates not going to work if we're getting bleeped? I have been like thinking about how to get off of TikTok. Like obviously it's good for the exposure. It's good to be on here and get pushed out on the For You page, and it's a big chunk of how I've like gotten the following that I have. But I'm hyper dependent on it, so I don't like that. And for reasons I was saying earlier, I'm never excited about the fact that I've had to learn to speak in TikTok language. It makes me very unhappy when I accidentally say unalive in person, because it happens. And it's always just like, everybody around me knows why I do it, but I'm just always like, I did the thing. I did the thing of forgetting that I'm like in the bar with my buddies instead of on a show. Before we get to you, David, in the queue, I'm just going to thank Julian, who also sent me $10 on Venmo and said, excited to finally catch a stream. Hopefully you get some actual decent calls. Here we go, Julian. We're going to find out. Oh my God. And Katie also says, why does the right hate anyone not white, straight, and male? I don't get it. Being that doesn't make them superior. Yeah, I don't know. They're just obsessed with these arbitrary things. Thanks so much for that $5 super chat on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, we are streaming on YouTube now. If that's your preferred platform, you can find the link in the link tree in the bio, along with all the other pay and donate and social links and everything. But yeah, the YouTube super chats are now an option to support, and I appreciate them very much for the reasons I just said, because crazy that people support me doing this. But anyway, I should stop yammering. Let's get to David. Let's see if this is a good conversation. W's in the chat for Noodle, who's bothering me. This is my dog. Can you see her? She's being very, very social. David, how old are you?
59. How old are you?
30. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, but the question I had was, is that the Minnesota state flag behind you?
Yeah, the fuck ice was added by somebody else, but the rest of it is, yeah.
What do you think of the communities that are refusing to fly it in Minnesota? Do you think that they should get their funding cut off, or maybe fined in some way? Or
I don't. I'll be honest with you. Emotionally, I don't feel all that strongly about it. Like if somebody, I mean, obviously individuals who fly whatever flag you want, right? That's there are worse. There are better flags to judge people for flying than that one. I'll just say, right? I don't think that the old flag represents anything particularly hateful or horrible or anything like that. Certainly people walking down the street don't have that association with it. It's just an ugly flag that we decided we didn't like. So I don't personally think it matters all that much. I do think it's important that we have rules for things like symbols and emblems and names of things when it comes to government institutions. So like should the town hall in some random town in Minnesota fly the correct flag? If I'm going to be a rule maker, if I'm going to like be a stickler, I think probably they should. But I'm just like too agnostic to whether or not that's legally all that important. I think if I was in the town hall meeting where this was being discussed, I might sit quietly and listen to people's thoughts. I don't think it's all that important an issue.
What does the new flag, how does it represent Minnesota? Do you know anything about it? I mean, what actually, you're like 1,000 lake state. There's no lakes on it. Does the blue represent a lake or something?
The flag, this isn't the flag model that I voted for. We had like a public poll about the 3 finalists, and there was one that I really liked because it was like green on the bottom and blue on the top, and then like kind of a swoosh was the shape that separated them, and I was like, like this is like blue and green, nature, the sky and the ground. Like, this is all about, like, nature is so important to why I love Minnesota so much. I preferred that one. So a lot of people say the blue on this one is reminiscent of that. Obviously, a lot of haters of the flag are mad that it bears some color and shape resemblance to some features of the Somali flag, which, you know, like, if that made its way in through people's influence through voting on the poll, like, that's fine. Like, that's allowed. I think it's a pretty flag, and the North Star is a different star than the one that's on the Somali flag. This is I always forget if it's 8 or 9. It's 8. The 8 points make it so that the star is 4 M's in a circle. If you look closely, there's like a bunch of random little design features like that. I mean, a good flag design keeps it vague so that whatever's important to you can find in the flag, right? We're trying to represent all the people in this state, and we have a very diverse, different group of people in this state, including Somali Americans. So if they see some resemblance to their flag in it and they like that, then I think that's great.
Do you think if the people in the rural areas of Minnesota, if they refuse to fly the flag, do you think they're probably because they're racist?
No, I think if you fly a Confederate flag, you're probably racist. But I don't think if you like the old state flag, or if you just had one flying already and don't feel like changing it because your grandpappy gave it to you or whatever, I just don't think that there's any such negative connotation with that particular flag. I just think it's an ugly flag. I think that emblem flags in general, where it's like a coat of arms style flag, a lot of old state flags from the 1800s are designed in that way because it was just kind of what was in vogue at the time. But the flag designers agree, the vexillologists believe it's very, very shitty to design a flag that way. Flag should be able to be drawn pretty easily by a child.
Right. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of racism with flags. You know what I'm saying? And this flag, I think, does a great job of Minnesota, representing Minnesota as far as what you're known for. You know, that makes a lot of sense, you know, because you're known for the blue colors and abstract shapes. That is what your state is founded on. Blue colors.
Blue colors and abstracts. Is that some kind of dig about blue hair? I don't think I'm following.
No, not at all. Not at all. Your flag, to me, when I see that flag, I think Minnesota.
Okay.
Don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I will say, especially since what's happened with Metro Surge, like what's happened here in the last 6 months, last 7 months, something like that, like, this flag has developed meaning for me that is a lot stronger in that time because I've seen it flown so much. I've seen it flown in contexts that make it an emotionally weighty symbol to me. Thank you for the confetti, Caroline. So like I can imagine a time when I'm older and I think back to maybe this flag. This flag has an interesting story. This exact one that I happen to own, like it fell into my hands in a fate way that's like interesting, and it, like, you know, these things develop symbols over time. So people are upset when we have to retire something that doesn't reflect those feelings and sentimentality and importance to people anymore. So for me personally, this flag is very rapidly developing like insanely important association with what's important to me as a Minnesotan.
Sure, and it also represents your history. You know, you were, you know, going back to the 1850s. That to me says 1850s.
This flag?
That kind of shows me your founding and kind of what you were founded on. Huh?
Why?
Because of its historical significance.
Well, I mean, we got rid of the flag that was from like the 1850s or something. This is a new one.
Right.
It's also it's also just not like graphic design wise. It's just also just like not the sort of flag that we were doing in this hemisphere in the 1800s. It's a pretty modern flag design.
Right. And that's my point exactly. Is your old flag? I think didn't you get rid of it because your old flag was kind of racist?
It had racist associations because the coat of arms that was on it did. But I don't think that the reason I don't focus so hard on those is because I don't think that any Minnesotan that was flying the state flag could be expected to be racist because of that historical association. It's just one of the reasons why we wanted to retire it. We have a lake here. There's a lot of contention about what used to be Lake Calhoun because Calhoun was such an old racist that we thought, you know what, let's change the name of the lake back to what the native people called it. Now it's Biddy McCaska, so people call it Calhoun like out of protest for that. And that I think is kind of racist because the whole reason is that it was literally named after a really reprehensible person in history. So I like get that that's involved, but I just don't think that if somebody accidentally calls it Lake Calhoun because they don't remember that we've changed it to Biddy McCosker, or they just like prefer to call it Calhoun because that's what they grew up calling it and they're stick in the mud. Like, I don't think that makes you as racist as obstinately flying the Confederate flag or something.
Right. Well, I agree.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think they're going to change possibly the motto of the state to represent because that's kind of an old motto that you're using, land of 1,000 lakes. I mean, you don't have 1,000 lakes.
Well, it's land of 10,000 lakes, and we actually have about 15,000.
10,000.
We have about 15,000 actually.
Well, I understand, but other states have more lakes than you, right? So I mean, why
Michigan's
are you taking
got
credit
more.
Wisconsin's got more.
It doesn't say land with the most lakes. Are you just a contrarian, dude? Like, it doesn't say that. It says we have 10,000 and we actually have more than that. What's your point? This call is making me weary.
Well, I'm just trying to understand what your thinking is, because to me that's not socially responsible by saying that on your license
if you care about issues of social responsibility and your priority is talk to me about the fact that our license plates say land of 10,000 lakes on it, and you can't think of anything more important to talk about in terms of social responsibility.
I think you should probably put land of 10,000 I don't know, LGBTQ members or something, right? You should probably have more social responsibility on your license plates.
No, I don't take that argument seriously. I don't wish to articulate a clear response to it. I'm just going to say no. I don't think that's a good idea or important.
So you don't support LGBTQ?
It's not what I said.
Well, it sounded like it. I mean, you're against changing the motto of the
Is that an LG is that a rainbow flag?
No, not at all. I don't know why you didn't go that route.
I put my rainbow flag over here. Got a rainbow guitar strap to support the LGBTQ community.
But you're against going the other way. I just don't understand.
I don't. Did he leave? Did somebody remove him? I wouldn't blame one of the mods if they removed him. That guy was a waste of time. Like, who fucking cares, dude? Like, oh my god. Oh man. Hey, Noodle. I think it's fun that I didn't even think of it when I pointed at it for the example where it's like, am I necessarily against things that aren't Minnesota if it's not a Minnesota flag or if it's a Minnesota flag that's flown? But I did happen to have a rainbow flag within arm's reach. Rainbow guitar strap, anyway. Yes, Raven in the chat. They are bleeping us on TikTok now. Automatically, everybody's getting bleeped. So if you want to watch Oskar uncensored, you gotta watch me on YouTube. But it'll be interesting. I'm gonna have to go down the rabbit hole about like how other people are dealing with this. But I'll have to figure out how it makes sense for me to navigate the way that I talk. Is the bleep disruptive? Is it like a really annoying? Is it like, should I really chat? Let me know if it's a major priority for me to avoid being bleeped. Twitch is an option. Oh, I didn't ask clearly enough. People said no, and I immediately didn't know if they meant no, it's not a priority, or no, it is annoying. It's entertaining. Okay, fine. Also, you will know that people were. I do have this one little piece of intellectual property protection, which is that I'm the only one who has the vertical VODs. The horizontal VOD, like, you can't even see most of the flag in the horizontal vlog. So I haven't seen it yet, but if somebody rips clips from my YouTube VODs, you'll be able to know because it won't be the full frame. So if somebody's going to full frame me, they have to screen record on TikTok, which would then have all of the clutter on the screen, the chat and everything. So I have like a little bit of copyright protection baked into how I do my VODs. But now just in audio form, maybe it'll be the case that it's the original VOD if it's not bleeped. I haven't heard the bleep from the guest, but I don't know if David cursed. I don't think he may not have said anything bleepable. But apparently you can get bleeped for saying ass. So how childish. But yeah, no callers and kind of a weak stream today. So maybe we're not pushed out to the For You page. Maybe it is just I do think it is just us followers here because there's there's 200 people watching, and usually this far into a stream with that many people watching, I'd have more new follows, and I only have 9 new follows, which suggests to me that it's mostly just people who are already following and watching. So I'm gonna start getting snappy and saying you guys need to double tap on the screen, or we're not gonna get a caller, because I really do want a caller. Or if Diava wants to come up and talk about the bleeping issue, I'm curious. Diava, you're fucked. Right? Like, sorry, hun, but Diava might be fucked, right? We'll talk about it later. We have a caller. Oh wait, we had another caller. He's gone, but Diava is here. Diava, are you fucked? I think you might be fucked. I'm just doing the bleep game for everybody, even though I can't.
You know
hear
what's
it.
so funny? You didn't get bleeped anytime you've said the F word. This time you haven't got a single bleep.
God damn it.
Let's see if I get bleeped, because let me tell you what. If so, I am truly fucked. No beep.
Well, okay, but
if you say ass, when you said associated earlier, you got bleeped on the ass part.
Oh, they're gonna have to work those fucking kinks out. That's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, chat, tell me, is Diava getting bleeped? Because Diava, say some more curse words, because I haven't heard a bleep yet. If I'm not hearing a bleep, my local recordings might be kosher, bleep wise, because might be free of bleeps, because the YouTube isn't hearing me getting bleeped, but I just haven't heard a guest get bleeped yet.
Everyone is saying that I'm not getting fucking bleeped.
Say so ass.
Ass, cunt, bitch, slut, whore, bastard.
It's just me?
I'll probably get a violation for bullying and harassing.
It's just me? They're gonna neuter the host, but not the guest? What the fuck? There was one, okay, it said, oh my god, that's so... Okay, everybody's saying it's super duper inconsistent. Oh my god. I'm
gonna be screwed though. If it's the host, I am so screwed.
I am
so screwed because I cuss like a fucking sailor.
Oh man, see now I don't even know what the fucking bleeping is gonna look like, because I don't have a local recording of it. I don't think somebody should screen record some of the show and send it to me. If you screen record some bleeps, I'll send you a Google box to put those in. You want to take a caller with me, Diava?
Sure.
2v1. We'll be kind. We'll be chill, right, Diava? We don't want to get bleeped. Henry.
Yeah, I'll mute. I'll begin on mute.
How old are you, Henry?
Yes, I am 21.
21. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Well, I really like ICE. I find it disrespectful that you're, saying fuck ICE.
I intended for it to be disrespectful towards ICE.
Nah, I think they're doing a lot of great things for our country. We need to respect law enforcement, and we need to deport all the illegals.
I mean, I just don't think that we do need to do that. I don't think that the punishment for
Wait,
that.
have you heard of what happened to Henry Novak?
Then why are they imprisoning them instead of deporting them? Why are they using our taxpayer dollars to feed them 3 meals a day?
Am I
house
talking
them?
To you? Do you know what happened to Henry Novak?
This is a fresh story from like a day ago, so I'm just
anecdotal.
Googling.
Can you tell me why we're using taxpayer dollars to house them day after day, month after month, when we could just be deporting them back to their country of origin? Why are we keeping them in for-profit prisons so long?
Are you talking to me?
She was talking to you.
Wait, so are you a Trump supporter or no? Because you said we should deport them.
No, I'm co-hosting, dingbat. Answer the question.
Yeah, we should be deporting them. We shouldn't be
right, but we aren't. We're imprisoning them and using taxpayer dollars. You guys used a bitch about you don't want your taxpayer dollars going to undocumented immigrants.
No, you actually have to follow the law for deportation, okay?
So, well, I mean, I think maybe what she was...
But they're not deporting
temporarily
them, okay?
hold them and then you deport them.
Yeah, but they're not doing a very effective job. Like, they're not even really accomplishing.
Why do you think?
Well, just the deportation numbers aren't very good, especially in consideration of the civil rights violation numbers. I'm really concerned about that.
You're the one that doesn't want any deportations. So why are you complaining about that?
That's not true.
I want some deportations.
Who do you want to deport?
Those who've committed like felonies, I would say we should probably deport.
Okay. So would you say we should deport
you can't
all
care
criminals,
about crime.
or?
You can't care about crime. You voted for a fucking convicted felon.
Let him get through his line of
questioning.
All right,
I'm sorry, my bad.
I think we should deport felons. if they're
Why
not.
not? Why not all criminals?
Because I think that the label of criminal is too broad to say that we should just get rid of these people because they technically fit that label. I mean, I think that if we want to be really, really careful about how we define things, I think almost everybody's a criminal. It's very difficult to navigate the world without committing
not
some kind of petty
everyone
crime.
is a
You've never
criminal.
you've never jaywalked?
You never sped in your car?
Never sped? Yeah.
No, there are different classes of like misdemeanors.
Correct.
Yeah,
Which is why we said felonies.
illegal entry is a misdemeanor, not a felony. So that's
Well,
kind of where
It's
where I was
a
going.
high
It's
up
akin to jaywalking.
misdemeanor. We should make it a felony, I think.
Okay, I
Nope.
disagree. I disagree about the severity of that crime. That's where our disagreement lies, and I just don't think it would be good for the country to deport most of those people. I think it would probably be good for the country to deport the people who have committed felonies.
Okay, so
I
what
have a
should be
s-
the
I have a que-
punishment
Hold on,
for
Henry.
trespassing into our
Henry,
country?
can I ask you a question real quick? This gets to the exact crux of your argument about them crossing the border illegally. Can you tell me what is the very first step to seeking asylum in this country? Our laws that they have to follow. What is the very first step to seeking asylum?
How is this relevant?
It is the entire point. So I need you to answer
What?
that. If you don't know, you can just say you don't know.
I'm not fully aware of the process to seeking
Okay, in
asylum.
8 U.S. Code 1158, the very first rule of asylum seeking is they have to be on U.S. soil. They have to illegally cross, quote unquote, illegally. They have to get here. And then once they're here,
No, they don't have to illegally cross.
they have to.
No,
That's
they
the
can go to the
only
border.
way. That's the only way. 8 U.S. Code
You don't know
1158
what you're talking
specifically
about, clearly.
8 look it up. 8 U.S. Code 1158 says whether or not at a port of entry. So they don't even have to come through a port of entry.
do
If
you
they
have a?
catapult in.
I don't think this angle is going to work on him because he cares too much about rule following that it's not going to apply to the rest of them. So I think I'm going to take a different angle with it, which is that like I always have to be careful, especially now because we're getting censored even more on TikTok. But like so we're not allowed to say the names of substances on TikTok. But the green stuff that hippies and almost everybody else likes to smoke, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I live in a place where it's legal to do, and I do it. But I did also do it before it was legal. What do you think my punishment should be?
Well, you wouldn't have a punishment now because it's now legal.
Okay,
It is
I think
not.
and I think that for most of the people who are here illegally, we should do the same thing because it's so obviously bad. The current arrangement.
Wait, it's still illegal though.
It
It's
was
still
illegal with the green stuff, right? And we made it not illegal because it was shitty that it
Oh.
was illegal. I'm saying
Well-
we should do that with most of these people.
I personally think that the green stuff should be illegal because it smells and pollutes our neighborhoods, and it makes people like you dumber, right? But I think that is a completely different category from illegally crossing. You don't think there should be any punishment for
Wait, I
trespassing?
just want to check.
No.
I just want to assess some moral things. Do you think I should be allowed to make myself dumber?
It depends. I don't know. What do you
mean-
mean by that?
I mean, like alcohol's also really bad for your body and for your mind. It's a shame that things that are so bad for the body and mind are often so good for the soul. But do you think alcohol should be illegal?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not equipped for this conversation.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I'm asking these more basic questions because it's just I think that if you're like on a prohibition stance, like we can start talking then about the historical precedent for how badly that goes in this country, and then I just don't think that you're really gonna engage that much with that nuance in a conversation about it. I think that your argument is not gonna extend farther than it's illegal. Is that your argument?
Well, that was the whole point of my line, Oscar, is because I agree that the law, our asylum seeking laws, a lot of our immigration laws need to be changed. That's why they did the length of
No, we need to enforce stricter borders. Have you seen what's happening in Europe right now?
No, that's where you're just
Alright, we are going
categorically
to
wrong,
literally.
Henry, no.
You know
no, you're wrong.
that-
No, you are wrong.
No, we're gonna
you.
be a white minority country basically in the
Oh
So what?
God,
few
he's
years.
replacement
wait,
theory.
no, let's do it. So let's do that. So what?
So what? So then basically a bunch of people coming over here from like Central America, East Asia, and the Middle East, they don't share our values. They're like Muslims a lot of the
What
time. Like
values do you
you've seen in
hold?
Minnesota, the Somalis.
What
who
values do you hold that they don't hold? What
Free
values?
speech, equal rights for women, men, right?
You don't believe in equal rights for women. if
Yes,
you
I
vote
do.
for Republicans.
He probably doesn't, but we gotta watch it with accusing the guest of things that they haven't said yet. It gives them a
He
card to
just
play.
said equality for women. If he votes for Republicans who have taken away and stripped away women for their bodily autonomy,
it gives him a card to
Wait,
play if
women's-
you accuse
you
him
think
before he
that
says something
abortion's-
misogynistic.
Like not equality for women, because you realize men can't get abortions. So
See,
how
now
is
the
that
conversation's
like
all over
about
the place.
equality?
what a doofus. I'm gonna drop out. I can't. He's not worth my bandwidth.
Yeah,
All right.
you're
Thank
gonna
you for
drop out
having
because
me,
you're
though.
scared.
I don't think Diava's scared. You got me. What do you want to talk about? A few things have come up at this point.
Oh
can
well,
just pick
like
one.
what I was just talking about, how people are coming here, they're not sharing our values, they're going to destroy basically America, just like we've seen in Europe. All
Well-
the stabbings.
Well,
and-
hold on. Is it about values or is it about skin color? Because you were concerned about us becoming a white minority country, and then you started talking about values. And the reason I was
No.
concerned about the color of
No.
the skin is because that doesn't reflect a person's values. So is it values or their skin color?
Well, it's a correlation, right? But it's not just about skin color, obviously.
It is
Like, I
because
think
you are
anyone-
racist. You are afraid
No.
that people who have a different skin color are going to have different values.
No, it's based on actual basic facts that people from the Middle East, right, are Muslim. Like people from Somalia, they're Muslim and they're going to be coming over here, and they don't believe in equal rights. We've seen Ilhan Omar. I mean, how is she get a congressional seat? Like, she is a joke. It is ridiculous. So
I mean, you didn't answer really my concern there, and you just called a Muslim woman a joke, which is not really helping the. You could say why you think she's a joke, and that would make you look less racist than you just declaring that she's a joke. And thank you, Katie, on YouTube for the $2 super chat, who said, "I'm pasty and I don't share
because
his
of all
values."
this fraud. Have you seen the fraud going on in Minnesota from these Somali daycare centers?
Yeah, again, I do. You know, I live in Minneapolis. Like, this is like a local thing. Like, I literally live
course you
in.
do.
I live in Ilhan Omar's district. I'm pretty like it's yeah. So what did Ilhan Omar do that has anything to do with fraud?
Well, she hasn't investigated whatsoever. She's literally not representing the people of
If
the
somebody's
state,
if
right?
somebody's in the
She's-
House of Representatives, is it their job to investigate fraud in their district?
Yeah, yeah. They
It
should bring it up.
It's not.
They should bring it up. Yeah,
It's not.
she hasn't
Lawmaker,
brought it up whatsoever.
No, you don't understand the job of lawmakers. They're not. It's not their job to enforce the laws. It's
Yeah.
their job to write the laws, vote on the laws.
She
That's just
also
not-
married her brother, I think, right?
All right, dude, this is just misinformation nonsense. That'll get you deplatformed from my show if you just want to declare shit that isn't true. Thank you $5 for the thank you Jen for the $5 YouTube super chat. She says, "Thought the repair guy was here. Upon investigation, it was just Noodle in surround sound mode." Sorry for the dog barking, everybody. Yeah, dude, you're just moving on to different like random misinformation. You still haven't connected her to fraud. You're ignoring the fact that it absolutely is not the
I have.
job. True or false? Is it the job of anybody who works in the legislative branch to investigate fraud in their jurisdictions?
Oh, they should. Yeah.
There's so many crimes we could put there instead of fraud. Is it their job to investigate murders?
Well, the difference is like.
Is it their
murders are
job to
widespread.
enforce the speed limit?
No.
Yeah,
But
it
that's
just
different
isn't their
because
job. They're not law
widespread
enforcement. They're
fraud
lawmakers. It's
from the
not.
people who elected her, right? The Somalis who came here illegally.
We could be talking about Walls, who's a white dude, and I'll defend him on it. But he at least is in the executive branch. That's job it is to execute.
And
the
by the
laws.
way,
like there's an
you
argument
just called
there.
me. You called me like a racist. I'm not racist. I'm fine with all races coming here to share our
No,
values.
I think you're a
the
racist.
problem is like people. They're
No,
not learning
I think
our
you're
language.
racist for reasons
they're
I
not
have
learning
said
English.
that you refuse to address. Because if you weren't a racist, you wouldn't be concerned with America becoming a white minority nation. Then when I started interrogating you about that, you started talking about values, and I said, "How did you get from skin color to values so quickly?"
wait.
That sounds awfully racist.
Wait, how is it racist to, for example, to be a white majority country? How is that racist?
Dude, that's like such a that's such a good example of racism. I don't even want to dignify that question with a response.
Well, don't you think that Africa should be a black majority continent?
I don't think that any place. I don't think it matters what the skin color of anybody anywhere is.
No, it's about culture. Don't you think?
That's just not what skin color is. What do you talk? Like you keep flip flopping. We talk
No,
about
it
skin
definitely
color.
has some influence over culture. Definitely. Not always. Like, of
Saying
course,
skin color has influence over culture? That's racist.
yeah, nationality. Nationality has influence over culture, right?
Yes.
And
That's not what skin color is.
no, but you don't think that there's like black culture, white culture in our country, Hispanic culture? You don't
Sure.
think that exists?
Yeah, I do think
Okay,
that.
so then
I
you
do think
then
that
you do
exists.
think that race
Yeah.
influences culture because of the way you were brought up, right?
Yeah, they're historically intertwined, but what you're not understanding is that you can take a person who's black and have them adopted by a different family that doesn't look like them, and they don't
Yeah, no,
carry,
I agree.
and they're not going to bring any black culture with them when they go. And
I know,
that's
I
what
agree.
That's okay. So there we go. Like at the core of it, maybe you understand
But
that.
that's not what's
That wasn't
happening here. We
racist
have,
what you
like,
just said.
No, it wasn't. We
But
have,
why do you
like,
keep talking about race
millions
if you
of
understand
Hispanics.
that a person who's black who's adopted by a white family isn't going to bring any black culture into the household unless they get it from somewhere else? If you understand
Because
that,
the
then
millions of Hispanics coming here illegally
I
are
wasn't done
bringing
answering.
different
I
culture.
wasn't done asking my question, which
They're
is
not
that if you
assimilating.
okay, which again has nothing to do with their skin color.
It does, because they not like genetically, but it has to do with the fact that of where they come from. Like, a lot of these people are coming from terrible poverty-stricken countries, and I don't think we should be allowing them in.
Do you scrutinize the like circumstances that people are coming from when they immigrate to America if they're white?
Yeah, I would. Like, for example, if we had a bunch of
Interesting
but
hesitation.
we don't really have a lot of white people coming from,
We
like,
do. Trump
poverty-stricken
is still
countries.
allowing white people in if he's not putting the same restrictions on white countries. White
No,
South
but-
Africans can still get asylum even though Somali Americans
Wait,
can't.
but
What's that about?
they're not. They're one of the wealthier countries, though. White South Africans.
They have some
So,
bad civil rights
can you name
practices there.
Can you name like a white majority country that is poverty stricken?
Romania?
No, it isn't.
I'd consider those white people. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. There's poor people everywhere, dude. Like, what is it? Like, again, like the
Well,
question.
compare it to like Somalia or Yemen or something like that, or
Was I
South
right?
Sudan.
Did I come up with a good example? Chat, let me know. Oh yeah, Lithuania is a good example.
No, it isn't actually.
Okay.
See, I'm just like dog walking you because at the end of the day that there is some cultural aspects to your nationality, to your race.
Just
right?
because you're still racist at the end of the call doesn't mean that you dog walked me.
That's because they're still racist, man. Shut up.
Latvia,
Shut up,
Yugoslavia,
grow up.
Croatia,
Grow
Belarus,
up.
Ukraine. Those are some more examples. Thank you, chat. I was in the right neck of the woods.
No,
Russia?
they
Russia?
are not. No,
Do you want to
not even close to like Honduras
no,
or
no,
Somalia or Yemen, right? It's not even close. Not even close.
no. That's you. It's more musical.
Well, it's
when I
just
do
a
it,
fact. You're just spreading misinformation now. You're being dishonest.
No. Like that was your
Man.
argument, dude. Like, yeah, there's
Man.
poor white countries.
And you are the same people that literally just deny it. You think like you have all these
Using
evidence-based studies to
phrases
prove your
"you
points.
are the same people" when like talking to somebody, even though we're probably the same race, you and me, still
I
makes
bet,
me
I bet
think
you
you're
think
probably a
there are like
racist type
infinite
of person.
genders, right? Do you think there are infinite genders?
I think that gender is such a social construct that's not a very valuable question.
Wait, so you can't answer it. So then you don't know what gender is.
I think I might know what gender is.
Wait, but you just said it's a social construct that no one can even like comment on it.
It's not what I said.
That's literally what you just said.
It's so fascinating when people just quote back what I said incorrectly and then declare that I said that, even though that's not what I said. I didn't say
So-
nobody can explain it. I just said that your question wasn't a very valuable.
So
or
you
important
can't
one.
explain it. You can't explain it.
I could explain gender to you. You didn't ask me to explain gender to you.
Yeah, I said how many genders are there?
I think that there are two genders that most people identify with, and then there's a huge spectrum in the middle So there could be infinite genders if you wanted to get really nitty gritty about defining a bunch of genders.
Thank you very
but that
much.
But what I guess what I'm saying is that gender is not descriptive; it's prescriptive. Like we can decide what a gender is and then assign it to a person, whether or not it fits their person or not. But it just doesn't actually like mean anything substantive in the way that people demand that biological sex does.
Biological sex.
No,
right?
it doesn't
Biological
though.
sex.
That's just not what the word means. You're just lying when you say that
No,
that's what gender
you don't
is.
think it does?
Nope. Nope.
You don't think that male, female?
Why do you do the sing-songy nope thing when like the biologists, the
Do you guys want
psychologists, the
men
social
playing women's
psychologists, the people who like actually like you're
What
just
do you
moving
think
on to
about all
other.
the
You keep
female
moving on to
athletes
other
who have been
questions, but it
harmed
just
from
is, as a
transgender,
matter of fact, not true
women?
that gender is solely predicated on biological sex. That's not what the word means. If you're not interested
you
in
can
using,
deny it, but it still is predicated on biological sex. But
it's they're related topics, but the
they're-
history of gender is deeply intertwined with what norms around biological sex are. Like all of that's real tangled up, but they're just not the same thing. And if you're just going to declare that they are the same thing,
essentially the same.
then we're not talking about the same thing because I'm talking about something that isn't the same as
then why
sex.
do
You
you
can
think
refuse to
that-
speak English, which is ironically what you're accusing my side of doing, but you're just refusing to use the word in the ways that the experts define it. So I'm just
Then
not
why
interested
do
in
you
having that
think-
conversation.
If you don't think gender and biological sex, if you don't think biological sex matters to your gender, so then you would think that we should just allow trans women to play in women's sports, right? Because they should be playing.
I do think we should let trans women play women's sports.
Okay. What about all of the female athletes in high school and college who have been severely injured and harmed from the transgender athletes that have been invading their sports?
I think that people get injured in sports, and if you have evidence that there is a disproportionate injury rate being caused by trans people, I'd be very interested in seeing that. And I need.
Yes,
and I
there
would
is.
demand.
There's Peyton McNabb.
A what? Is that a source?
Peyton McNabb, for example.
Is that an anecdotal example of a person being hurt, or is that data about the incidence of injuries and who they are caused by in sports? Because that's what I asked for, not an anecdotal example of one time one thing happened. There's 350 million people in this country. Be more responsible with caring for those people by using data instead of anecdotes.
A study. I'm sure there's a study.
Okay,
Definitely.
then you need to bring me the study. I'm not interested in your anecdotes.
Well, you can go fuck yourself. You're a loser, and
that's a pretty handy W. I'm gonna. Thank you for that. That's usually people don't just admit they're that lost and gonna run. Anything else?
yeah, you're a nerd. You need to get out of your fucking basement and go touch grass. You need to stop being this liberal, annoying, weak beta male. You need to go and get your money up, hit the gym, and finally start realizing that you can't fucking change your gender. That's what you need to do.
You gonna go look for that study and call back later, or what?
Yeah, bro, you can find the study. I don't even know. Like,
No, the
do I
burden's
have
on
to-
you.
I'm not gonna go
You
into
asked
your-
me. We gotta remove him for what? What did TikTok remove you
There's-
for? Harassment and bullying. Yeah, the standard flag. There's only one. That's gonna be such a slick clip. Oh my god, he turned tail and ran. There's these little things I care about, and one of them is about like, I need you to demonstrate like that there's a trend happening, not one anecdotal example. And I'm kind of achievement hunting, where it's like I want to get Instagram clips that are good for all these little things, and like, that was a good clip to just show how quickly such a person completely loses their mind and runs if you ask for actual data, because there's 350 million people in this country, and I don't care if you can show me like a person who broke their arm because they collided with a trans person in a soccer game. Like, it's just people break their fucking arms playing soccer sometimes. It happens. Like, anyway, yeah, that was a good one. Is he banned? I banned him. I mean, he's not banned on the account. He's in the queue. It's elchicotech.edu. I don't know, chat. Up to you. Is he banned? Do we let him in? Do we want to hear what he has to say, or do I want to just keep trying to rhyme for no reason? Oh man. Yeah, everybody says banned. You can get sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you again in like a month, elchicotech.edu. You've been too disingenuous lately. I would not say he's just like RC. That's David's back. Oh god, I already can't remember. Why did the call with David end? I don't remember. Which one was David? I'm bad at my job. David, sorry, remind me who you are. I know we just spoke. I'm just mixed up. Are you the one I just spoke to, or the one before that?
I talked to you. Yeah.
What did we
I
discuss?
talked to you before.
The flag guy, right. Yeah. The flag thing. I don't know why you were so stuck on that. What do you have a new topic? What do we?
You're talking about transgender women in sports, right?
Mm.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That's what we were talking about.
Oh, well, there is a risk involved when you sign up for sports. So
Just in general, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think sports are also just like wildly unfair. Like they're a real messy. Like it does some good to cleave it in half. It makes it less unfair the way sports work generally. If we have the two teams I just think we should do the teams based on gender, not biological sex. I just think that makes more sense for
I agree, and I don't think that there's that many women that even complain about it. I mean, they're pretty okay with it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think that it really gives anybody really an advantage one way or the other, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very nuanced conversation because I think that on average men do have a biological advantage in most sports, and there are reasons why.
They're not men though. They're trans women.
Cis men
They're
have
trans women.
Cis men do have an advantage in most sports over cis women, which is why we divide the teams. I just think it.
Yeah, but we're talking about trans women,
right? Who are kind of an edge case compared to this normal binary system, and I just think it makes more sense to put them to put a trans woman on the women's team. I just think that's like the most harm-reducing outcome. I just think it's like a little nuanced, is all. I'm careful about how I talk about it.
I think that it would just make the cis women try harder, as far as training and stuff.
No, I'm not. You mute, you lose. Come back. I want to talk to you instead of David. Yeah, I just you're.
Are you transphobic? I didn't mean this upsets you to talk about. Okay.
I think that you said that something that was a little transphobic, which is that you said it would like give the women something to like strive for if they had trans women on the team.
Well, you don't think it would?
No, I don't, and I think that I disagree about that. I think it's disingenuous to call me transphobic for thinking that. I would like for you to defend the fact that you called me transphobic for having a problem with you thinking that. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, it kind of does, because you're saying that would not make cis women try harder at all when they're competing, right, against trans women who, to your statement, have a little bit of an advantage by the fact that their biology is a little bit
most trans athletes are on hormone therapy that negate the existing biological advantages that tend to, on average, not across the board, just on average, come with males and females. So now it's way more complicated than that. And I would say in a lot of cases, a trans athlete's going to be actually pretty disadvantaged regardless of which team they're on because of their physiology and the hormones that they're on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an interesting thing, because when you go through puberty, right, with male, can I say male? Is it okay to say male?
I don't know why you're asking at this point in the conversation. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to offend anyone. So when you go through puberty as a male and then you go through puberty as a female, I think there's some differences that happen in that process.
Yeah,
right?
and one of the ways that we do gender affirming care for minors is that we put them on puberty blockers to stop them from going through puberty, so that doesn't happen to them. So that's one of the many things that can complicate these matters.
Is that safe?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's safer than not doing it.
Okay, because the reason I asked that, you have like the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good place? I mean, is it highly regarded?
Highly regarded.
It is. Okay. Because they did a study on it, right? And
what are we talking about? Does this have to do with trans rights?
Yeah, no. Mayo Clinic, right, did a
No,
study.
then I'd like to go back to my claim, which is that it is better to do this sort of gender affirming care for minors because it leads to better outcomes on average for them. Because I think that's something that a lot of people on the right and people who are just against trans individuals in general just don't put enough weight into, which I think is a really serious like mark on you as the humanist that we should all strive to be. Is that I just don't think people recognize the suffering of people who have gender dysphoria. Like it's a really rough go in life if you struggle with. Yeah, it's just bad. These are people who have a really high self-unaliving rate. I have to say it the silly way because of TikTok.
It's almost the unaliving rate. What is the unaliving rate on it? Is it like over 50%?
I don't think it's that. I think the attempt or like ideation rate might be that high, but no, that's not the.
It's really high.
It's too high. It's too high. It's way too high. And one of the things that really dramatically reduces it, one of the things that the doctors really look at when we decide, when we weigh the pros and cons of these admittedly pretty dramatic interventions that we give some minors, is how much it reduces that self-unaliving rate. That's one of the things I'm really after when I talk about gender affirming care.
How much does it reduce it? Do you know?
A fucking lot. It's I don't, it's been a long time since I've looked at numbers, but it's by like
95%.
It's something more than half. Yeah, it like reduces it by an enormous amount. It's not like I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. So it's been years since I've done the reading. Maybe if somebody knows it, or if we want to go down the Google rabbit hole. But I'm not saying what I'm saying is it's not like it takes the percentage and it makes it like 50% down to like 48%, but that like still is a big deal. No, it's enormous. That's really no. I'm saying that would still be a big deal, but it's not even like that. It's something like it takes that 50% and turns it into 25%. It's huge. I'm using arbitrary numbers. I'm just saying the reduction is enormous. It's not like a statistically measurable reduction. It's an enormous reduction.
Absolutely.
The chat is telling me, multiple people in the chat are telling me 70%, and I try to foster a chat I can trust for these sorts of quick things so I don't have to spend time on the show Googling because it is a little bad. So somebody please fact check Oskar Quentin if he's wrong. So I'm going to trust the chat and say it reduces it by 70%, which is a lot.
Do we have any studies after the transition has been made, right, where they're either unaliving or detransitioning?
Rare, but yeah, just like there are some people who regret their transitions. There are people who still go through with those sorts of ideations, and that's very bad. But the rate across the board's greatly reduced. Very few people regret their gender affirming care. It has better outcomes than a lot of like. There are surgeries for like a torn ACL that people are controversial because they don't have as good outcomes. People regret getting lower back surgery. That's one. A lot of the surgeries we have for lower backs are like surgeries that just like the doctors are like, hey, we've been doing studies 5 or 10 years after the surgery. These people aren't happy, or like these surgeries are really painful. The recovery is really long. They're expensive. It's like there's all these lifelong issues. They're really, like there's all these reasons we can do these studies on them and say like there's regular uncontroversial shit that doesn't have as good a track record as doing gender affirming care for minors.
Right.
Are you up in arms about lower back surgeries, having learned that?
No. I'm for all surgeries. So,
well, I'm for reasonable decision making about surgeries, and I don't think you are for all surgeries. I bet I could come up with an example of a surgery you wouldn't be excited about.
Like what? I'm not against any surgeries.
I personally am very much against genital surgeries for minors. I think that's bad.
Oh my god. I don't think I can talk to you right now. Wow. I thought you were transphobic. I wasn't sure, but you are. You actually are. And
no serious proponents of trans rights.
You should not be telling people that. You should stop that because that makes you flat out transphobic.
I was waiting for you, Raven. You want to take that one?
I mean,
Hi.
seriously.
So
Vanderbilt
even trans
University,
people,
who does those surgeries.
A trans person is talking. Don't speak over a
have
trans
you been
person and talk about transphobia.
Have you been transitioned?
First of all, you don't need to transition medically to be trans.
Well, I'm trans and I've not transitioned, but I identify as a woman.
So you use she, her pronouns?
Sometimes I do, not always. It depends on how I feel.
So are you gender fluid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like if there's a like if I go to a basketball game, like an NBA game, and there's a long line at the men's room, but there's no line at the women's, I transition right over to.
See, that's clearly disingenuous.
My other gender, and I go right in. And when they question me, I go, nope, I'm gender fluid.
You mute, you
See,
lose. I do want to
that is
just sorry
transphobic.
for interrupting, but you mute, you lose in the queue. I do want to talk to you today. Please hang out. Sorry for interrupting everybody.
And nobody questions me.
So you just openly admit to using
No,
trans issues for
I'm
personal
gender
gain?
fluid, Raven. What didn't you understand?
You just seem very disingenuous about it. The way you present it is disingenuous.
How so?
You say you switch it when you need it, not when you feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it when I switch it. I feel it. I
That
feel
just
it.
seems disingenuous. You need to
Well,
convince
when
me
do you
otherwise
switch
at
it
this
up?
point.
Are you gender fluid?
Technically, yeah.
Okay, then you know what I'm talking about.
I don't do it because I feel that way. I
Well,
do
why
it.
do you
I don't
do-
do it because
why
I
do you
want
do
to.
it
I do
then?
it because I feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, I have to use the restroom.
And
so
you
I'm like,
literally said, "I do it because I need a different restroom."
well, that could be a benefit,
That's what you said.
right? You can
Now,
use.
can we
either
get back
restroom.
on the topic
You can
of
use
genital
either
surgeries
restroom
for
like me.
minors?
You can use either.
Wait.
well,
I'm gonna take the floor for a moment because maybe David will listen to me. I wonder why. And I'm gonna say,
Well,
I'm gonna
Very
say,
transphobic.
You
Your
accuse
host,
me.
you're very transphobic.
Yeah, you accuse me of being transphobic for saying that I am
Totally.
against. That I'm
Totally.
against. Yeah, keep interrupting me. It makes you look great.
Yeah.
What you said for everybody who's just joining, because this is a live show and I have to do a little bit of summary when there's a pause. Can you understand that I'm running a live show and I'm like doing a little bit of management here? Can you let me summarize
Sure,
what we were
recap
talking
your
about?
Transphobia.
You accuse me of being transphobic because I am against.
Recap your transphobia.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to recount what you accuse me of being transphobic for. Are you gonna let me?
Totally are.
Okay, so let's see if you'll let me. You accuse me of being transphobic for being against genital surgeries as gender-affirming care for trans minors. I have
A
a couple.
transphobe would say.
Yeah, I think that's fucking nonsense. I think you're obviously behaving in a way
Oh,
that's
boy.
disparaging of trans
Oh,
people in
boy.
this call. I don't think you know anything about the gender-affirming care stuff,
Oh, my
because if
God.
you did, you know that no serious
Oh,
proponent of
my
trans
God.
rights
Have you
would be in
not
favor
seen
of
the
those types of
results?
surgeries.
Hold up. Have you not seen the results out of Vanderbilt University? You have
I
not,
thought-
have you?
I thought you weren't going to
You have
interrupt
not,
me.
right? You've not. You're talking
not-
out of your ass.
I'm not familiar with that particular. Maybe I have.
you're
Maybe
not
if I looked
familiar
at it,
with
my.
it. Get
I'd-
familiar with
I'm
it.
starting to feel like this
Get
conversation
familiar
is
with
not
it.
productive.
Yeah, I think
Get
I might
familiar
abort
with it.
this one, and I mean,
Move on to,
Ezra didn't even get
You know
to say
what?
anything.
I don't
Hello,
think I can
Ezra.
talk to you. You're
Hi.
absolutely a transphobe.
Yeah, I kicked him. Ezra, do you think I'm a transphobe for not wanting kids to have genital surgeries?
I think that you're the worst person to ever exist, Oscar.
Dang it! Man, we could almost. Man, I wanted to have a nuanced conversation, maybe about circumcision or something. I also don't think we should circumcise children. That's less obvious a stance, I think, for somebody on the left. But that one's more nitty gritty. I want to talk to you. Mute, you lose. You guys have anything before I kick you out of here?
I was just gonna point out that the reason we don't do genital surgeries on kids is because it's widely not accepted by doctors as healthy because their bodies are continuing to grow, and the parts that they do surgery on don't grow. So you have to find a way to make that work. If in the very, very, very extreme cases that genital surgery does happen on children.
No.
Surgeries in general, yeah, absolutely. Like, it's not something that, at least in the state of Missouri, we can do with minors for top surgery at all. And I think for the same reasons, it's probably best to not do that for minors, but definitely giving them safe care and giving them safe binders and stuff for trans masc individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a surprise. The three of us agree with guess who? The doctors.
Wow.
All right, I'll kick you guys. Thanks for
Kick
hopping
me.
up.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we're gonna before I get you mute, you lose in. I'm just gonna remind everybody that if you want to support the show, you can go to the link tree in my bio. Follow me on the other platforms. That supports me immensely. Doesn't cost a dime. If you have a dime you want to spare, you can send it to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon, because I do this full time now. So I do need some of you to do that, but you guys have been doing that. So thank you for making this my job. Let's see what you mute, you lose. 1776 wants to. We'll see what he's gonna run about today, because I never mute him and he always runs. What's the topic today? You mute, you lose.
Dude, you never try to debate me in a genuine conversation. That's all I ask for, you know? I won't leave, right? If I'm actually having a conversation with you.
The audience can judge.
Once I Once I start throwing facts out, man, you start spurging, you start. And I can't stop you.
Yeah. We're gonna howl. We're gonna howl at the night together. What about though? What's the topic?
I mean, there's so many good things that Donald Trump has done. I mean, there's just.
Pick one.
It's honestly. Name one?
Pick one.
Okay, closing the border.
What does it mean to close the border?
It means that you have less people coming through the border illegally.
Oh.
And less.
Well, that's an outcome. That's not actually
less
an
drugs.
Well, hold on.
Okay,
Like,
here we go.
If people,
I'm trying to define that.
If you close a door and people can't go through the door anymore, right? Like a door to a building, that makes sense to me. The reason that people can't go through the door is because it's closed. So I asked you how he closed the border, and you told me that people aren't going through it. So with my little door analogy, I'd be sitting here being like, no, but how'd you close the door? Did you lock it? Like, what's actually the thing that he did that caused that reduction in
If
transit?
people can't get through, right, then that means that something is in their way. So that means that obviously, if you're talking about in regards to closing the border, if there was people coming through by the millions and then all of a sudden nobody's coming through, that means that, guess what, it's no longer open.
So you're assuming that he must have closed the border?
No. I'll tell you how he closed the border.
I also know why. I also know how he achieved this outcome. We'll get there in a minute, but let's see why you think it was.
What he did was he used his strategic, awesome 4D chess playing brain that he has to sit there, and he put tariffs against not only the northern border but the southern border.
Dude, that's actually like a hot take. You think that the reason that the immigration is down is because of the tariffs? You're just playing fucking Trump policy ad-libs, dude. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
I'm trying to give you the whole picture, but you won't let me explain. So not only did he enforce tariffs on these countries to actually stop the flow of these people coming through and stop the flow of fentanyl, do everything they can to stop this stuff.
Trying to understand how he stopped it.
I'm trying to get there.
So stop saying that he stopped it. We're talking about how he stopped it.
The border isn't a one-sentence thing, dude. It's a big concept that your little liberal brain cannot wrap around.
Ad hominem!
All right. So not only did he do that, right, which got the other countries to our north and our south in check, he then proceeded to use the National Guard, the U.S. Marines, Border Patrol. He actually was backing Border Patrol, letting them do their job, and actually enforcing the United States border law that Biden signed into office that he ignored.
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
I'd like to talk about those agencies. I'd like to talk about the border policy. I'd like to talk about the enforcement efforts. But at first, I would like to understand how tariffing Canada and Mexico has reduced immigration.
I mean, it's reduced immigration by the fact that these countries are so scared of us taxing their product into our country where it would become more competitive, and they wouldn't have more they wouldn't have more product coming into the U.S. because it's more taxed, but it would cause problems with people buying it. It would cause problems with competitors' products.
So how does that affect the decision making of the migrant?
Well, not only did the presidents of these countries actually come out and tweet that they are going to do what President Trump asked them to do when he told them about these, they chickened out. They were acting all tough at first, and then they fell in because they could not take the fact that Trump was using.
No, but how? Like, if there's a guy and he's trying to sneak across the border to get his family to a place where he thinks he's really good at roofing. He wants to come get a job under the table, work for cash or whatever, and he wants to live that American dream. How does any of what you're describing about tariffs and tweets from presidents affect his decision making?
Affect who? The person coming?
Yeah, because we are talking about you said that the illegal immigration has reduced. I'm trying to understand how you're connecting tariffs to that.
Okay, because
not seeing it.
It's simple logic. It's simple. We do this all the time, right? So when, for example, this is an example. This is an analogy.
We do struggle with basic logic all the time on the show. It's kind of a running trend.
let me. I know you do, but let me just point to an example. So if you have a federal program. So if you have a federal program, say like, for example, DUIs, right? And you have federal grants that are given to agencies that enforce catching and prosecuting DUIs in your county, they get federal grants from the government.
But how do the tariffs But how do the
Okay,
tariffs influence the decision making of the
I'm
people?
trying to get to that. I was selling the analogy to show you that once the government has an initiative to do something, they are able to enforce it more. So it doesn't matter if Homeboy wants to come into the country.
No.
If
We can talk about
man,
enforcement
dude.
efforts later. I said that first I need to understand why you think the tariffs were an anti-immigration effort that was effective. That makes no fucking sense to me at all.
Because it was absolutely
Explain.
effective. I'm
You're
trying,
saying-
but you keep interrupting.
Wait,
Keep
wait,
on-
wait,
you
wait,
keep
wait, wait,
on-
wait, wait, hold on. You just said something very interesting. You said that it's working, therefore it makes sense. So I can just pick a thing that happened and say that because the immigration rate is reduced, it caused it, right? Like I became
No, dude. Once
I-
again, you're doing this thing where you're going full.
I became a
idiot,
gigging
dude.
musician
Calm down.
last year. I became a gigging. Are you leaving? Are you gonna run already? If you run, you lose. I became a gigging musician last year. Does that mean that I reduced the immigration rate because that's a thing that happened last year and it was successful? The immigration rate got reduced.
That's not no. I mean, you're comparing apples to oranges, and not only that, you keep on interrupting because, and then you gave me an example. Oh, how does it change the person coming over? And then you switch it up.
Change
Let
your
me
username to
explain slowly.
change your username to if you interrupt you lose. Your username is if you mute you lose, and I don't use the mute button on this show. Welcome to the Oskar Quentin Debate Live show. I know you don't like it here. That's why you always
So
run.
by threatening these countries with tariffs, right, that would impact their economy, these countries started sending more military personnel, police personnel, enforcing the laws that President Trump wants enforced, right? So he was talking about border security. They need to work on their half of the border, which they started doing, which once they started working on their border, they started, guess what? Reducing the number of people coming through the border. So once you have people working on the south side of the border to stop people from coming in, and once you have the people on the other side of the border stopping people from coming in, it works pretty well. So that's how President Trump, one of the ways that President Trump stopped people from coming in.
What does that have to do with tariffs?
Because do tariffs impact the economy, yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so does it impact other countries' economies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so by threatening countries, we are the largest economy in the world. Everybody wants to do business. Everybody has to do business with us to be successful. So the mere fact that of President Trump threatening with access to our economy via tariffs, making it more constraintive for these countries to actually come into our market to be competitive because we have a capitalist system, which is awesome and has always worked, unlike communism. We sit here and we threaten these countries, and they're so scared that they actually start falling in line.
You think that the migrant who wants to become a roofer in America, Noodle, quit your barking. You think that the migrant who wants to become a roofer in America to provide for his family, he's so scared of the tariffs that it stops him from illegally immigrating?
Did I claim that? I never claimed that.
Yeah, you claimed that the tariffs stopped him.
You want to put $100 that I never claimed that?
No, I don't
said
want
that it pushes that country's economy, right? And they care about their economy. So once we start having problems as far as like them not enforcing their country's laws and just letting their people come over here and letting people caravan through their country into our country, right? So Mexico is a very long country. They've had plenty of time to stop these caravans from coming over. They didn't do anything about them. They just started.
I'm just not hearing the connection.
Because you're not listening, dude. This is what you always do. So if we sit here and tell them, hey, you either start not letting these people in and catching them before they get here, or guess what? We're going to make you pay when you bring your product into the U.S. And they're like, okay, we're going to stop them before they get to your border. And we're going to make sure that they don't come in here from other countries and caravan through our country so that way they flood your border. That's what's going on.
I still just don't get how that actually like trickles down to affect the decision making of the people who are illegally immigrating.
I never claimed that. I don't care if okay, so not only that, but like okay, so
then why did you bring up tariffs when I asked you how Trump closed the border?
Oh my lord. Did you not like are you just playing dumb today?
I think talking to you makes me dumb, dude. Why did answer the question? Why did you bring up tariffs when you said that Trump closed the border?
That was one of the ways that he used,
and I still don't understand
economic power.
And I still don't understand how you think that contributed to the reduction.
It absolutely contributed.
How?
Because Mexico got told that if they don't sit there and stop these people from coming in on their side of the border before they get to the border, that guess what? We were going to tax their product more. And Mexico, being so dependent on the U.S. economy and being so dependent on that steady revenue that they get from their product entering our country and being consumed in our country, got scared. So guess what they did? They started to prevent these people from coming in our country, which would entail less people in our country, would entail closing the border on both sides.
But
if you cannot get to the border,
there's just a leap in there that I'm just not following, which is that.
Man. I'm about to.
We can move on. We can
this
skip
this is dude. You're playing dumb, and it's not genuine, man.
Then we'll move on to the enforcement. We don't have to keep talking about the tariffs. I'd like to keep talking to you. You're great for the show. Thanks for hopping out.
There's a lot of social issues that stem from just people showing up in our country unannounced and without any kind of process.
Unannounced, like they're supposed to tell you if they move here.
100% they are. 100% they are supposed to tell me.
It's just a funny way to refer to it.
100% they're supposed to tell me. They're supposed to let me know before they get here. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, now it seems like you're the one not taking the conversation seriously.
No, I mean, that's literally what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to tell us, like, hey, can I come seek asylum in your country? Hey, can I come into your country for a visitation to go to Disney World?
But now you're moving on to other
stuff. Can I come into your country to visit?
I did want to talk about the I don't think we made progress on the tariffs claim. That's okay. Can we talk about the fact that you said then Trump's enforcement efforts, which I actually do think are the reason why people aren't illegally immigrating as much right now?
You talking about the military being present?
Well, I mean, the use of the military forces is bad, but ICE isn't the military.
Why? Why is the use of military forces on American soil defending our border bad?
Yeah, I just think that that illegal entry is like a civil crime, and we shouldn't use the military for that.
Illegal entry is not a civil crime.
Or not
it is a federal crime.
I misspoke. I was totally wrong what I just said. Literally, the wrong word came out of my mouth. I meant to say misdemeanor.
Okay, no, entering the country illegal is not a misdemeanor. No, it is not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it is not. Getting caught in the country illegal is a misdemeanor. But jumping the border is not a misdemeanor.
Fucking sure, whatever, dude. Like, it's a misdemeanor.
Those are two different crimes that you're inflating right now.
The thing they did, it's a misdemeanor. Yeah.
No, it's not a misdemeanor, and it's very serious. So do you think?
So I was right, wasn't I? It is actually a civil crime.
No, it's not a civil. Okay, a misdemeanor is not a civil crime. I don't know where you're getting that from.
The chat's not sure. I don't know. It's a misdemeanor, dude.
Your chat that writes me and that your chat that tells me all kinds of awful things to do to myself and to my family. You mean those people? I don't think that those people are very reasonable. Have you ever seen the messages that your chat sends people?
No.
Because they talk about coming after my family. They talk about coming after me. I mean, they're very violent people. So, if anything, why are a bunch of violent, horrible people like that following you? What does that make you? If you're their leader, and if you're their overlord, what does that make you?
What? Overlord? What are you talking about?
I mean, they're obviously like some kind of like, I don't even know, man. Like, have you ever seen the messages that your people send me?
People are paying me to kick you. I gotta thank those people, but I'm actually gonna.
Once I bring that up, I'm
not gonna kick you.
Get kicked out.
No, I'm gonna go against the donor's wishes. I'm not going to kick you. I'm going to go against.
I'm leaving.
I'm not gonna kick you. Are you gonna run now? Oh, he ran. Okay, so me saying that people were paying, I guess he did it for you. So thank you so much, V. And V, I don't think I can pin your messages. I actually tried to do that yesterday, but you can go ahead and put your merch link in the chat again if you want. Because I mean, you're like, I'll basically a sponsorship. You really support the show in a serious way. So thank you so much for the Cash App and the Venmo you just sent. Seriously, that's like the two of them add up to like another $100. That's crazy. So yeah, feel free to hawk your merch in the chat. It's allowed. People can go click the link. Dude, he's always looking for the easiest out. And that was an interesting one, where it was literally that I was getting paid to kick him, but because my whole gag with that guy, the whole shtick, is that I don't mute him and I don't kick him, and he always runs. And so I was going to go against the donor and not kick him to preserve that running gag on the show. And it worked anyway. He heard about it, heard that I was going to go against the gag to keep him, and he ran anyway. Tavi on YouTube Super Chat for $5 says illegal entry is a misdemeanor, illegal re-entry is a felony. Yeah, I don't know. The guy guy doesn't make any fucking sense at all. I will admit my attention was a little bit split. I think somebody may have come to my apartment door. My dog was really freaking out. Usually, if she hears something, she'll bark like 2 or 3 times. But if she keeps barking for like a couple minutes like that, there usually just is somebody at the door. But all the people who come to my door are supposed to know that if they hear me yapping like show in my show voice in here, they're supposed to go away. Katie sent me a $2 YouTube super chat to say, says for the Overlord. All right, well done, Noodle. W's in the chat for Noodle for distracting me from that guy's nonsense. I'm going to listen back to that later and be like, yep, I definitely still wasn't making any sense. If you want to also support the show, there are links to do that in the link tree in my bio. You can follow me on the other platforms. That doesn't cost anything, but it does help. Anyway, Kenzie, how old are you?
27.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
3 reasons. The first is the work that he did in getting Roe v. Wade overturned. The second is the work that he did when he was talking about passing an EO, which he did to limit children from being physically and chemically mutilated under the guise of gender affirming care. And the third is because Charlie Kirk supported him, and I support Charlie Kirk.
Okay. This is breaks my heart to talk to people like you. Do you know the type of life that Charlie Kirk wanted you to have?
Can we start with the first thing I said?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Charlie Kirk, who apparently, in your opinion, doesn't want me to have a certain kind of life.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted you to live in a world that treated you very fairly. He thought that.
Can you explain that, or are you just gonna say that? Like
he felt that women lacked leadership capabilities. It's honestly kind of hypocritical that Erica Kirk even inherited his position as the runner of Turning Point USA because
I agree with you.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have supported a woman having a position of power like that.
Yeah, I don't think women should be in positions of power either. I support Erica, but I don't think that she should have become the sole leader of the company. I don't even think she is anymore. But yeah, no, I don't support women in positions of power.
Why not?
I don't believe women have as many leadership capabilities that men do typically.
The reason it makes me so sad to talk to people like you is because one of the reasons that these issues are so of unfairness in society that I'm so upset about are so pernicious and so lasting is because somebody like you can grow up in a world that keeps telling you that. Even if the developing world, the parts of the world that are doing better, the parts of the world that are doing a better job feeding their kids, parts of the world that are doing a better job making better art, making cooler technology, doing cooler stuff, like the people who are really doing the work of all this progress that humanity has made since we used to be like literal savages running around like warring with each other over random shit and trying to like hunt and not starve to death every winter. Like, we've come such a long way, but what slows it down is that there are always going to be a lot of people who want to preserve the status quo because they benefit from it. But even worse is that those people will abuse the position of power that they're trying to preserve to create people like you who don't benefit by that system of control, who you're on the losing end of this whole equation, but you're convinced it's for your own good. And I'm just devastated that judging by your tone and the way that you've handled this conversation with me, you're probably not even interested in the evidence that it seems that I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And that just breaks my fucking heart. I don't know how to talk to somebody like you.
You don't know how to talk to somebody like me who disagrees with you?
It's that you don't believe in yourself. You're here advocating.
There's nothing oppressive about not wanting to seek a position of power.
You're advocating for your own subjugation because you are wrong about the fact that women lack the capabilities for leadership positions. Like, that's just not empirically
I never said
true.
Women lack the capabilities. I said women aren't as qualified as men. Women can have positions of power, but I don't believe that they're going to be as successful as men would be.
I don't know who Doug is, but everybody go thank him for sending me the stream rate. I really appreciate it.
And again, this has nothing to do with why I support Donald Trump.
I'm just more interested in the fact that you're not interested in supporting yourself.
I'm interested in the fact that you don't want to talk about Donald Trump. Is it because you're scared, or you don't have any resources, or you don't know how to navigate this conversation?
You brought me three reasons. You brought me 3 reasons that you support Donald Trump, and the most interesting one of them, the one of them that I haven't spent a bunch of time already talking about today, a novel one. I picked the one that would be best for my show. Sorry, And the one was a topic I don't have every day, which is that I have
You
a
don't need
woman.
to apologize.
I have a woman who's called in and said that the reason she supports Trump is literally just because she's copy and pasted Charlie Kirk's opinion about Trump onto her own perspective. And I think that's a fucking insane thing for a woman to do. So I want to talk about that. Yeah, I insist that we talk about that more.
Yeah,
Why are you-
and you can talk to me respectfully. You don't have to curse.
I'm respecting you in this conversation more than you respect yourself. That's the topic.
You can believe that, and if you keep saying that, it really begs the question again, why you're not interested into the meat and potatoes of what I'm talking about, rather than talk about publicly on your platform right now about how I apparently don't support myself, and I'm breaking your heart for some reason because you think that I'm lost in the past of how women should be treated, and I'm just adopting what Charlie Kirk believed.
That's what you told me.
Hey,
is that you,
I know it's hard for you to let women finish, but you don't need to interrupt me because I was almost done. No, actually, go ahead. Go ahead, since you think it's funny. Go ahead.
I just think it's funny what you just said. Yeah, you brought me that. You said that you support Trump because Charlie Kirk supported Trump, and you just value his opinion that much. And I'm just really trying to understand why you would support somebody who's so bad for women. And we got to this thing about how you don't think that women should lead, and then when I said it's because women don't have leadership capabilities, you pushed back and said that they can. It's just less than men. And I'm willing to put an asterisk on my understanding of your position and say, okay, it's like, maybe it's like a bell curve thing where it's like, yeah, men are on average faster swimmers. That's why we divide them in the Olympics. So like, like there could be like an overlapping bell curve thing there. We could have some kind of nuanced conversation about that. But I just don't think we should consider a person's gender or sex when we make those sorts of decisions, whether or not they should lead. I think we should just check if they're good leaders. I think we should just look at their resume. We should look at the way they present themselves. If we're talking about a politician, we should look at how they do the work. I don't think it matters if they're a man or a woman. You seem to. I'm trying to understand why that is.
Do you know what Charlie Kirk did a few months before he was unalived?
A bunch of hateful shit?
Well, no.
In addition to that, specifically.
I don't know if you knew this. I don't know
Okay.
if you knew this, but he hired a lot of women at his organization. And I'd like to know if you know what he did several months before he was unalived.
No, dude, I want an answer to my question, because I had a very long-winded question with a very specific end. I asked specifically, why is it that you think that we shouldn't have women in leadership roles? You said yourself that you don't like that Erica Kirk is now leading Turning Point USA. Why is the question? I'm not going to let you ask me some other question instead of answering mine. And I'm also not going to let you control the live, because I want to run the live in the way that you would support, so you're not in charge.
So I think it's really obvious that there are differences between males and females, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that just because a male or a female is good at something, it doesn't mean that the other side is less worthy or like valid?
Sure.
Like if you said earlier how males are faster swimmers than women, that doesn't mean that women aren't good at swimming, or women can't be successful at swimming, or women are inferior to men when it comes to it just means that men biologically and statistically are better at swimming than women are when it comes to speed.
Yeah, I think it's just that men are taller. It's like being tall helps a lot with swimming. Suppose also I know that men have a greater biological males have a greater ratio of upper body strength to lower body strength, and I think that's advantageous for swimming in particular. That's why I use that example. Just one I happen to be knowledgeable about, because there's like those little facts about biology that like make that the case. I know of no such fact for leadership.
Well, when it comes to leadership, you have to have certain qualities and characteristics that I feel like men are better at than women are typically.
Okay. We can
Not
measure
even
how
better, it's
we
more
can measure how,
successful.
we can measure how tall people are and correlate that to how good they are at swimming, because there is a really strong correlation. We can also measure how tall people are and correlate that to their gender, and on average men are taller than women. So there is a direct empirical pile of evidence for that to be the case for swimming, which is why we divide the sports. I bet there's some minutia about how we divide the sports that we would probably disagree about, but I don't want to get sidetracked on that. I'd like to know what that empirical evidence is for leadership.
Well, I would say typically women are more emotionally driven
Okay, so I want to dissect that as a claim. You're saying that you would say that women are typically more emotionally driven. How does one measure that? I'd like some kind of operational definition and some study that shows that you're right and you're not just making an anecdotal impression about how people behave, which people tend to do poorly. We're not very good at measuring those things by just like observing people. We have to do operational definitions of the behaviors that we're talking about. We have to write the data down. We have to do the math and show that the trend is actually there. And I explained how we've done that with swimming. And I'm expecting you to probably not be able to do that with leadership. What do you mean when you say that women are more emotionally driven? I also disagree. I think men are, like, on average, potentially a little bit less in control of their emotions. But I don't really weigh my own like impressions like that. I just look at data.
So in medieval times, whenever there was a queen, they were typically driven more to start wars with other countries based on their emotional attachment to not only their position, but their people and the people of the
So instead of doing any of the things I just required you to do to understand this correctly, like actually measure some of those attributes and show that it's connected to some particular outcome, you just gave me a correlation causation fallacy, which is that countries that were led by women had more wars, which is unsurprising if we think about how the leaders of these other countries in the Middle Ages probably felt about women running other countries. I can imagine a situation that would make that data present that isn't the actual relationship between the things. So I'm just asking you for more concrete evidence that all this stuff that you apparently pick your president about, you apparently pick a lifestyle where you don't want to have as much power as the other, gender. That's
Never said that.
You said that you don't. I mean,
you're taking what I'm saying and you're making me drink from a fire hydrant. You need to calm down.
Okay, then
right? So then stop.
You didn't like how I worded. Every time I word it differently, that you don't think.
No, because you're taking what I'm saying and you're running off the road with it, and you're talking about something completely different. So
right,
are you capable of continuing this conversation?
I think everybody watching knows that it was like really unfortunate for this conversation that you decided to focus on my wording of what you've made very obvious to myself and everybody watching about your predisposition towards women leading. Like that, I think is clear.
I know you probably want to be the next Dean Withers or Parker, but you're not.
I have some ways that I run my show that's different than the way that they run their show. So I just want to be myself.
Source that men are more emotional than women?
I said that I didn't have a good one and I didn't even value that. I just mentioned it as an aside that my general impression is a different one, which is why I don't trust general impressions.
Okay, well then I don't know why you expect me to trust your general impression if you don't even trust them yourself.
I don't. I'm asking you for evidence instead of either of our general impressions.
I literally gave you evidence and you're turning it into something completely different right now.
What was that
evidence? Which is unfortunate.
What was that evidence?
That women in positions of power are more emotional.
And your evidence of that was that countries in the Middle Ages that were led by women had more wars.
Of course.
Okay, and I did respond to that. I said that I don't see a good connection between the fact that the conclusion you're drawing is that the war...
So then let's move on.
No, we're not. No, but the conclusion that you're drawing, that you're inserting into this, the assumption you're making is that those wars were started by the women being emotional. I don't understand how you're making that leap. Thank you, Katie, for the $2 YouTube super chat. Katie says Trump is very emotional. I do think that's worth pointing out in this conversation. Thank you, Katie.
I never made the claim that Donald Trump wasn't emotional. I also never made the claim
I just read
that
Katie's
I support
message.
Donald. Right. Well, then I guess I'm responding to Katie since you're responding to her in the middle of our conversation. I never made the claim that Donald Trump wasn't emotional. I also never made the claim that I support Donald Trump regardless of what he does or says or posts on social media. He's a human being capable of making mistakes and making choices that are intentionally bad. However, I believe that he is a better leader for our country and a better representative for conservative values than anybody else that was running in all 3 elections that he was running for. So let's move back to Donald Trump instead of the dissection of my opinion. Then I don't know why you want it. Why it literally says there's no good argument for Trump.
The question
and it
again.
Says, fuck ICE on the
question
flag
again.
that you have behind you.
The question
so
again.
I'm not going to continue talking
again.
with you.
The question
you're
again.
gonna stop and listen to what I'm saying.
I don't think that you're in charge of the show. I think it's my show, and I'm going to talk over you until you either leave or let me talk. I don't drop the guest. If you want to run, you can, but I am going to just talk over you because the question is, how are you so sure that the queens in those countries ended up at war because they were emotional? That was we went down the rabbit hole chasing your beliefs about women, and we got to these queens from the Middle Ages. How are you so sure that they ended up in those wars because of their emotional capabilities, their ability to control their emotions, whatever it was you said about emotions?
Right, so I'll pull up a source on this if you'll pull up a source that defends your opposition to what I said.
We're talking about a claim that you've brought, so the burden is on you. I don't have to do shit. This is my show, and I'm asking you why you think that about queens. I'd love to see a source, though, you've got
Yeah,
one.
I'm not doing that for you.
Okay. Then I don't think that your argument's a very good one. I think that you can't
Okay,
present
that
a
doesn't
source
hurt
that
my
shows that.
feelings.
I don't think that you can present a source to show that, and that you're demanding that I show a source for some other thing, which doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, and that's just
Not what I said.
I think I'm accusing you of just getting out of it. I'm not accusing you of something you said on this show. I'm accusing you of what I think. I think you don't have a good source for that. I think you know that belief isn't well founded, and you're afraid of how effectively I'm cornering you and interrogating you about it. So you're coming up
Why
with
do you find
excuses
pleasure in
to not.
cornering women?
Because what you're doing is so bad for all the women that it's a net benefit to women on Earth that I'm cornering you the way that I am right now.
So the way that you're treating me is good for women.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't really know what your point is then.
My point is, I'd
Can
really
you
like to
substantiate
understand
the
why the
fact that you
queens
said that
in the
Donald
Middle
Trump is more
Ages ended up
emotional?
in war because of their emotions. You haven't demonstrated that to me, and I'd really like to stay on that.
Yeah, we don't have to do that if you want to, because I know it's your show and you're not going to mute me or kick me. So I guess we can
I'll
just
kick you
start-
eventually. Maybe somebody will pay me to kick you. That's usually what happens if I really refuse to kick somebody who's not being productive. But I feel like I've already gotten, like, you're not going to demonstrate to us that the queens were more emotional or something or whatever it was. Melanie sent me $5 on Venmo just to ask, would Kenzie consider herself overly emotional? I sensed some emotions during this call myself, Melanie. So I think you're on the right track asking that question.
I'll answer her question.
Okay.
The question was, do I think that I'm not over emotional?
Well, let's read it out again, because that's not
Yeah,
exactly
what
what
was the
it was.
question?
The question was, would Kenzie consider herself overly emotional?
Yes.
You would?
Yes, of course I would.
Why is that?
Because I'm passionate and because I'm a woman and because
I was only interested in the it's because you're a woman part. It's not because you're like, it'd be, if you are, I do think you are a little emotional, and that can be true of you. But I just think
there's
lots of
nothing
people.
wrong with that.
I think there's something wrong with you thinking it's because you're a woman.
Explain.
I don't think that it's fair to say that women are overly emotional. I don't think that that's true as like a women's only issue. I do.
No, not
Here,
women.
I'll say something a little
Me.
controversial. I'll say something a little controversial as a person who's on the left.
Everything you've said is controversial.
To somebody. I do say controversial things for a living. Me and Charlie Kirk had that in common. Maybe that'll make you respect me. But men and women psychologically are not indistinct. Like, the biologists and the psychologists are aware of psychological differences. There's a damn good reason why it's men in prison instead of women. There are differences, but for any individual difference, you do have to demonstrate that it exists. And I think that men and women handle their emotions often in very different ways. But I think it's nonsense to consider the emotional fortitude of women when men have such a bad track record with emotional fortitude, because it is a lack of emotional fortitude that lands so many of those men in prison for things like domestic violence, for losing their temper. Crimes of passion so regularly committed by men, and there's so much data about that because of how many men are incarcerated for crimes of passion versus women, which shows that these are people who control their emotions so poorly that they can't even follow the rules in society that they have to follow to maintain their freedom. They literally get locked in a box because they can't control their emotions. I have data about that, and I'm asking you for data about these queens from the Middle Ages being so testy, and I'm just not hearing it.
With you.
Okay.
I actually agree with you. The way that you worded that, I agree with you.
Okay, so can you apply that concern to your concern about women not leading because they're emotional?
Well, I'll have to reframe that, but I definitely want to concede right now about that, the way that you explained that.
I don't even think you have to concede, because you didn't make a claim that was counter to what I just said. You're just so surprised that I said something sensible that you feel like you need to concede. So thank you for the unnecessary concession.
You don't have to word it like that.
The queens in the Middle Ages, though, were they emotional?
I'm not going to be able to pull up a source about that right now.
I'm glad that you now admit that you are. It's not that you're unwilling, it's that you're not able. Thank you for rewording it correctly. Katie on YouTube Super Chat sent me $5. She said women are emotional yet supports Trump. I find misogynistic women more problematic. Thank you, Oscar. Feminism gave her rights. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate you very much. And I appreciate everybody donating in all the different ways.
That's a completely different situation, but that's
I
fine.
just read the message, dude. Like, you can.
So
It's funny. You keep doing
Am
this
I
thing
gonna
where
lie
I
and respond?
You keep doing this thing where I
Like,
read
you're-
the message
you're
and then you
you're
pretend I
reading
said it. It's not a topic change. I'm just reading it out. We can get back
I'm
to
not
what we were
responding
talking
to
about.
You. I know you're not the one that said that. I'm
Okay,
responding
fine,
to the
fine.
person.
Maybe
So
I
you
jumped
don't
the gun.
allow people to respond when you read off comments that people say about your panelists, and then I'm just somehow supposed to be like, completely silent about that. I'm not allowed to respond to that. I'm just and if you think that when I'm responding to them that it's at you, then I don't know what your issue is, because you're the one reading it about me. And I clear the display when I come on lives like this, because it gets to be a lot with the comments and shit like that. So
yeah, it's a lot. I'm only giving you like 40% of my attention. So sorry if I mixed it up a little bit there. Can we get back to the conversation?
I would like to, but can we move past the fact about women being emotional and actually what I was talking about when I first came up here?
I consider it a concession that you said that you couldn't deliver me good evidence. You said that you wouldn't be able to
I literally just told you that I conceded. Can we move on?
So you're conceding about the queens in the Middle Ages.
Sure.
Okay. So why do you support Charlie
back
Kirk?
to Donald Trump, please.
Well, no,
You
but we
still
got
want
to
talk about Charlie Kirk.
No, I mean, just gotta handle my attention span is just longer than that. The reason we were on this topic is because you said that you support Trump because Charlie Kirk supported Trump, and you support Charlie Kirk. And then we talked about Charlie Kirk's opinions about women, and you said that you agree with those opinions, that women shouldn't lead because they're so emotional. We went down this long rabbit hole that ended with my tirade demonstrating that I actually think it's pretty reasonable to suggest that men are too emotional, a way that's worse for leading. I know Dean Withers has his own argument for that. It's a little different than mine. I talked about like crime statistics and stuff and domestic violence. You brought up the queens from the Middle Ages, which you're abandoning now and saying that you can't provide good evidence that they went to more wars because they were emotional. I think you just heard that talking point somewhere, regurgitated it, and didn't expect anybody to ever ask you to show the receipts on it. So we're at a point in the conversation now where you've conceded. Are you conceding completely that it's not sensible to say that women shouldn't lead because they're emotional?
Not that they shouldn't lead, but that they are emotional. Like men would be.
So you still think that they shouldn't lead,
more.
but you now need a new reason that isn't because they're so emotional.
No.
No what?
No, I don't want to have another reason for why women shouldn't lead.
Nah, but you need one because we already fucked over the other one so completely.
Right.
So
I
you
want
need
to
a new
pivot
one.
back to Trump.
No, it's not what happens on my show. I'm
Oh,
really
well,
good
then
at
I don't know why you have people up here when you don't want to talk about Donald Trump, when it says there's no good argument for Trump and you've got fuck eyes.
Talking to a woman about why she supports Charlie Kirk is a way more interesting topic to me than why anybody supports Donald Trump. I'd love to keep talking about that. It's novel for the show. I'm in charge here. I don't care what the prompt says. Hello.
Well, I consider Charlie Kirk to be an American hero.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts on
A hero is
him.
somebody that has outstanding achievements, noble qualities, and is admired for their courage. Would you consider writing and publishing 4 New York Times bestseller books to be a outstanding achievement? Yes or no?
No.
Over 120 million downloads of his podcast in a single year. Do you think that's an outstanding achievement?
Nope.
Starting the largest nonprofit organization for youth activism in our country's history is an outstanding achievement. Yes or no?
And not only would I say no, I would also say that I don't even think he did that one. I would disagree
Promoting and educating young voters on who to vote for, and then not having that candidate.
I think you're just gish galloping with all these examples, but you know in your heart, your disingenuous little heart, that I don't think he's educating people well. I think he's miseducating. He's disseminating disinformation. That's what he was doing. So that I think that.
Regardless of if you agree with him or not. Irregardless, and if you agree with him or not.
Irregardless. All right, I'm putting on my irregardless hat.
Nice. So take his conservative values away just for a moment, and whatever your opinion is on him of what he was doing.
I can't separate people from their values when we're discussing whether or not they're good people, which is what we're discussing, is whether or not Charlie Kirk is worth supporting. So no, we can't just say take all the things you hate about him and put him on.
That's not what we're talking about. No. You don't remember what I said.
Educating the youth.
I said Charlie Kirk is an American hero, and a hero is somebody with outstanding achievements, noble qualities, and is admired for their courage. So I'm giving you examples of what I would consider to be outstanding achievements.
Okay. So yeah, I think that.
And so that's why I mentioned his books, his podcast, and the fact that
so it sounds to me
and supported a political candidate that ended up winning the election.
We're getting somewhere here. It's not that you believe these hateful, bigoted things because Charlie Kirk believed them. It's that you believed in Charlie Kirk because he believed such hateful, bigoted things. So I think we have to move on to why you are so hateful and bigoted. And Mark, I appreciate your $2 Venmo donation. I'm not going to read your joke out loud because I don't approve of that joke about Charlie Kirk personally. I'm not going to read that one out loud. But anyway, thanks, Will, also for the $1. He says Kenzie isn't emotional. She's a garbage example to young women and girls. Yeah. I think that if young women and girls are watching, they should be. I hope that they're learning more from me than from you. I hope they're learning more from me than they ever will from Charlie Kirk.
So how can you defend what you just said about me?
I think that you're spewing some reprehensibly bad beliefs that are predicated on bullshit that you're not able to defend, and people should. You told me
that I have a disingenuous little heart. You're reading comments from people that are insulting me, and now you are calling me hateful.
You've been hateful on the show of women, which is like, yeah, you're like a self-hating woman.
I haven't said anything to disrespect you, yet you find it humorous to disrespect me. Do you treat all women this way? I'm just wondering.
Just the pick-me's.
Explain how I'm a pick-me.
I don't think I need to. For those listening, a pick-me is a woman who supports these sorts of ideologies that subjugate them. Like the name
sorts
comes.
Of ideologies?
That women shouldn't lead.
Okay, so ideologies is a plural word. Are you capable of?
Yeah,
defending what you just said.
If you want to actually come full circle, you did start the call by saying the other two reasons that you support Donald Trump is because of him overturning Roe v. Wade, which I think was also really bad for women, and because of his position on trans rights, which I think are really bad for all sorts of people.
You're pro-choice.
Yeah, and I think it's reprehensible that you're not. So that's another reprehensible thing
Planned
that
Parenthood?
I do.
Do you know anything about Planned Parenthood's history?
Not so much their long history. I mean, the history of any sort of medical practice is generally bad because we have made some very rapid progress in modern medical science.
Well, I can explain it to you.
I actually don't trust you because you gave me some bullshit about queens from the Middle Ages, so I'm not really interested in your history lesson about Planned Parenthood. I'm really interested in your position on women's right to choose. Yeah, it's a pivot away from the topic of Roe v. Wade and women's right to choose, which is one of the other three things that we discussed. I think I've beaten the dead horse enough on reason number 3 that we went after first, but we can talk about Roe v. Wade. So no, I'm not interested in your history lesson about Planned Parenthood. I'm interested in your thoughts on abortion.
You said that you're not interested because you don't think that I can pull up a reliable source. What if the source that I...
It just isn't the history of Planned Parenthood just isn't the topic because they're not the only ones who perform abortions. Abortions would still happen if Planned Parenthood ceased to exist.
Right, but you would acknowledge that they are the largest provider of abortions in our country, yes or no?
They happen to be. So Canadian Vicky on YouTube Super Chat sent me $7 and says this lady spewed misinformation about Planned Parenthood on Parker's Live yesterday. She thinks you're racist if you support Planned Parenthood. Oh my God! There's a long-standing. Yeah, don't point a camera at your screen. Come on, just tell me what to Google if you want to look at it. I'm not even gonna blow it up. I'm not even gonna give you the opportunity to spread this misinformation. Because I do trust Vicky that it's
so this is from Planned Parenthood's own website. So how is it not a reliable source when talking about Planned Parenthood?
Well, I guess my bigger problem here is that we're pivoting to the history of Planned Parenthood, which I think is a different topic than your position on abortion generally. So I'd just like to table that and not allow you to pivot, which is what I do on my show. I know it sucks.
Well, my main issue with abortion is Planned Parenthood.
That's fucking nonsensical.
How is it nonsensical to not support the largest provider of abortions in our country, specifically when I can prove to you that they are racist?
Almost everything in this country that's existed for more than a couple of years is racist in some way. So I'm
just gonna but other things aren't responsible for the massacre of children. So
well, yeah, but the entire country's responsible for the massacre of children. We allowed slavery in this country for
right, but we don't
more than 100 years. Like what are you talking about?
Slavery legalized
almost 100 years
today.
Right, we're working on it.
Right, so then
we're working on the racism.
Have abortions today, and we still have Planned Parenthoods today.
Right, and I want to talk to you about whether or not abortions are okay to do. I do think racism is bad. I bet Planned Parenthood probably has a long history where a bunch of terrible stuff happened. That's true of almost every institution in this country that's old.
Right, but all these other institutions aren't responsible for the massacre of these children.
Is that happening now?
Yes.
You're talking. Wait, no. This history that you're upset about is that is that happening now, or we can talk about the massacre of children, which is what you're referring to abortions when you say massacre of children, right? I don't think that's an accurate label for that. Okay, we can talk about that.
Planned Parenthood, who is the largest provider of abortions, is racist, and they're racist today.
Okay, Donald Trump is racist. What does that have to do with?
Donald Trump isn't responsible for the massacre of millions of children.
He's responsible for the massacre of. He's responsible for the massacre of some children. He bombed a school. He bombed a.
You don't know anything about Planned
Well, this all happened because I was refusing to let you pivot.
Because
So
I
once
do
again,
have
why
a
do you
reliable
think
source for this. So you're pivoting now.
I'm just not letting you pivot onto the topic of the history of Planned Parenthood. Why do you think abortion's bad?
I think abortion is bad because it's a medical procedure that intentionally unalives a human being.
Okay. Can I tell you why I don't think abortion is bad?
You can explain to me first, when does human development begin?
So humans aren't actually we're not very sure when life began on Earth, but because it's all one tree of life where like everybody's parents is somebody, you can go all the way back to abiogenesis, which we think
What an
happened.
incredible non-answer.
It's a biologically accurate answer. Human life on
It's
Earth
not
began when.
biologically accurate.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. Prove it. Where's your source?
I would
Exactly.
reference the work of Richard Dawkins.
Exactly.
Probably, I would offer you to read The Selfish Gene if you or what's his book on abiogenesis. I doubt you like him though. I don't think you'd read one of his books.
Around right now, I as a woman walking around right now, if I'm pregnant, there's no specific point that you can look at to decide when
there's a moment. There's a moment where the sperm and the egg come together. But the interesting thing about that is
What's
that the
that
sperm.
called?
Let me finish. The sperm and the egg are both already alive. They're both already happening. One's in the mother, one's in the father. So then we could look at when their lives begin. And all I'm saying is we can peel that onion back forever. I don't value metabolic life, is what I was going to explain to you. That metabolic life isn't important to me.
So when a sperm fertilizes an egg, what is that called?
We have an OBGYN in the chat. You are welcome to hop up. But
why can't you answer that?
I was just saying something to the chat.
You now have to refer to somebody else to answer your questions.
I just let experts up. Like, experts love coming on the show and helping out. I'll have them in a moment so you don't feel too trampled by them. But you do understand what I mean when I'm saying.
I only want to talk to you right now. I don't want to talk to somebody else.
If you want to run away because there's
no,
if you're gonna run because
if
you're gonna run because I'm bringing a doctor up to talk about medicine, then that's fine. But I will, before I bring the doctor up, just reiterate. I want to make sure you understand my position. Can we make sure that you understand my position? Can we do that?
Is it rooted in biological realities and factual evidence, or is it just well, I don't really know. I kind of feel like it goes back to this.
Yep, biological evidence.
We don't have an exact pinpoint as to when human life begins, et cetera, et cetera. You're
that's
saying
not exactly
the
what I
sperm is
said.
alive and the egg is alive, but you don't.
I want to make sure you understand my stance.
Is the production of new
perhaps if
Your
my stance is
perhaps
if my stance is predicated on some bullshit, you can point that out to everybody, and that would be useful. But to do that, you'd have to understand my position. Can we make sure that you understand my position?
Sure.
Because I actually haven't even told you yet why I think abortion is okay.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Actually, just because you've been yelling at me and you've been really confident in this conversation, why do you think I think abortion is okay?
Why can't you answer the question?
I'm just, a moment ago I decided I'm going to change directions on this a little bit. I'm curious why you think I think abortion is okay. I want to understand that about you.
I would assume that it's my body, my choice.
Sure, but specifically
bodily autonomy for the woman over the child or the man that impregnated her.
Yeah. That's on the right track. It's on the right track. There's something like much more specific than that I've been trying to get to for a few minutes now. Can I land the plane on that?
As long as your plane isn't headed towards the Twin Towers, sure.
My father worked in Tower 2, and I have like really bad asthma because I was in Manhattan that day. Thanks for bringing that up. Anyway, yay terrorists for giving me a lifelong illness. We'll all wonder why Oscar gets lung cancer if he gets it later. Was it those pesky terrorists? Anyway, can we get back to abortion?
Yeah, I don't know why you're asking me for permission.
Because I was a little offended by your comment about 9/11, so I just brought up that it's like a real personally connected to me. Anyway,
I'm personally offended when you were insulting me earlier, so I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. And unlike you, who's unwilling to apologize, I do apologize for what I said, and I won't say
fuck your apology. You're not sorry. I don't believe you. Let's get back to abortion. The reason I think abortion is okay is because when it comes to decision making, like do we value the life of a child or the mother, I'm really only concerned with that consideration, that dilemma between two entities, if both of them are sentient, thinking, feeling creatures. So that covers animals, that covers people, that actually also covers unborn children past a certain point in their development. But there's a big chunk of the pregnancy where that hasn't happened yet. And the thing that I really value, which is suffering, a person's capacity to have a bad time, that hasn't happened yet when we do these early abortions. So I just don't consider it. I don't consider the perspective of the unborn child a moral one, and it just doesn't. Oh, it's making me remove Kenzie for what? Wait, no, hold on. I'm going to click cancel. Flag for misinformation. Oh, you know what, Kenzie? I so value this conversation with you. It's the end of the show. I'm not going to remove you, even though TikTok is asking me to. I'm going to take the ding. Just fucking watch it with what you're saying, I guess.
You can drop me. It's not going to hurt my feelings.
I don't know. I mean, it hurt your feelings that I was going to bring an OBGYN.
I mean, I'm not going to leave, but if you want to keep me up here, that's fine. But I would like to continue talking about this. I'm not really sure.
Well, it sounds like maybe you understand my position, maybe not. Maybe before we introduce our new guest that I just added. So hang on just a second, new guest. Can you just...
Well, I want to ask you a question.
Can you just make sure... Why is it that I support women getting abortions? Why don't I think it's a problem to abort like a first trimester baby? Or
you don't value its sentience. It has to have sentience and viability outside of the womb in order for you to support it. I would assume that
you brought up viability outside the woman, which does, I guess, matter in terms of some of the nitty-gritty medical decision making. But very specifically, it's that I do value sentience. It's not that I don't value sentience. It's that it doesn't have any sentience.
Until when?
Around about 24 weeks is when we think that starts.
Okay, that's what I was thinking that your cutoff would be. So you don't support ABs electively past the point of sentience, right?
I'm sure there are some like nitty gritty minutia examples that the doctors would explain a very important reason to me why I'm wrong about, but like generally, yeah.
Okay. Do you think that we should have laws that protect the lives of patients in our country?
That's a pivot, and I just want to now. Well, no, it's a new argument in this conversation. So I am at this point going to say
no.
We already do.
I was going to introduce a guest. I haven't met you before. What's your name,
Oscar.
that girl, OB? Kenzie, please shut up for a moment
Hey,
so I can
I'm
meet this
Val.
new guest. Hello, Val.
I'm Val. I finished medical school in 1995. I finished residency in 1999. I'm board certified in OBGYN. I've done abortion care for about 6 months of my career. But in my main career, where I'm taking care of women who come in with various problems, there are times, many times, where an abortion needs to be performed. It's not just elective abortions that are happening. And I wanted to specifically say, after 24 weeks, a fetus usually has some viability. So what we usually do if mom has a medical problem after 24 weeks, we prep that baby with steroids to help the lungs mature, and we deliver the baby. So, and I also wanted to add that while mothers have autonomy, fetuses do not have autonomy because they cannot take in their own oxygen or nutrients or release their own waste. So they are not autonomous like a woman is. And if you're coming from the religious standpoint, the Bible says that life begins with the first breath. So after the baby is born and it takes its first breath, and I think it's interesting, I'm an atheist, so let me say that. I don't believe the Bible, but I do think it's interesting that the Bible says that life begins at first breath, because most people don't know that when a baby is born and takes its first breath, the pressure changes in their system causes their blood flow to reverse. So a fetus doesn't even have the same blood flow pattern as an adult person or even a baby. Once it's out of the womb, its blood flows in a different direction. So a fetus and a baby are not the same. Those were the things I wanted to share.
When is the dilation and evacuation performed?
So we usually perform D and C's through 12 weeks and 6 days, and D and E's are performed above 13 weeks.
So when are D and E's performed?
Above 13 weeks.
That's not true. Do you know what a dilation?
Baby, so you're going to tell me, someone who has practiced for 30 years, that what I said is not true. The person who has actually done D and E's, you're going to tell that person that they're not telling the truth. I just want to be clear on this.
Yeah, according to my research, what you're saying is factually incorrect.
Okay, well, I don't know what to say about your wrong. Where is your source?
So prove
Where
me
is your
wrong.
source? Because obviously your source probably comes from some Christian.
UCFhealth.org,
And what does it say,
YaleMedicine.org.
darling? What does it say?
You don't need to call me that. You can just say
What does
Kenzie.
it say, darling? What does it
First,
say?
Yeah, you don't have to talk to me like that.
What does it say, darling? Obviously, you're not my mother, so you're not going to tell me what I can say. So we can either move on.
Continue to be rude. Like,
We
that's
can
fine.
either move on.
So a
You've been rude to him. You've been rude to this host. You've been rude to this host. You've been rude to this host the entire time.
Typically between 13 and 24 weeks of gestation.
And I said above 13 weeks. Did I not say above 13 weeks, host? Host, did I not say above 13 weeks and that after 24 weeks we deliver them?
That's exactly what you said.
So she called me factually untrue when I said above 13 weeks, and I had already said that after 24 weeks we just deliver the baby.
Instead of dilation and
So
evacuation.
you are lying. You lied on me. I would like an apology.
Yeah,
I said
Kenzie,
more
can
than
you-
13 weeks. Liar, I said more than 13 weeks.
Open the cervix.
Liar, I said more than 13 weeks.
It's
So
exactly
until
what
you
she said,
admit-
Kenzie.
So until you admit that, we're not moving on with this conversation.
Val, you know how I run my show.
I don't. I've never met you before. But
Well,
I'm glad
okay,
I came across
I,
you. Let me follow
I
you.
also was going to insist that Kenzie admit that she was wrong, and we're not going to discuss anything else on this show until she does.
I mean, I literally said above 13 weeks like 4 or 5 times. And the beginning of the conversation, I said after 24 weeks, we don't do an abortion. We just deliver the baby because it's viable. So how was I lying, Kenzie? How was I lying?
Stop yelling and I'll answer you. You don't have to yell at me.
She can, though.
When you said above 13 weeks, I thought you meant like before. So if I misspoke, then yes, I apologize. However, you brought
I
up
said up to 13 weeks, we do dilation and curettage, which is a D&C. I said up through 12 weeks and 6 days. At 13 weeks, we go to D&E, and at 24 weeks, we deliver the baby alive.
So what's the D&E? Because my understanding
Dilation and evacuation. They
Explain
open
that
the
for
cervix up and they remove the fetus just like you think they remove it. That is
How?
exactly what they do.
How do they remove it?
With a ring forceps.
And
That's what they use. I don't know what the and is. I guess you're going to prove me wrong and find out I was right again.
No.
So go on and do your research because my 30 years doesn't mean anything. Go ahead and do
All
your
they need-
research.
So all they need is the forceps. They don't use anything else to remove the contents of the uterus.
Well, I mean, with a suction D&C, we use a suction curette. That's below 12 weeks and 6 days.
What a
Over
desperate.
12 weeks and 6 days, we use forceps to remove the fetus. Go and
Right.
do your research and come back and prove me right again.
Kenzie needs to know what the doctor had for breakfast, or it doesn't make sense.
What happens?
I use a speculum. I use a light source. I use pickups. I use a ring forceps.
Are you wearing
I
scrubs?
use dilators to open the cervix.
What happens with the skull?
You use a ring forceps to crush it and remove it.
And then how do they know that it's completely been crushed? So
We
far?
look we look at it in a baking pan and we put the fetus back together. Having done abortion myself
No,
for
that's
6
the
months. Okay, well, again,
How
my
do they know
30
the
years
skull
of
has been
experience means nothing to Kinsey and her research. So go ahead and tell me, because I did it for I literally did this for 6 months. But
I'm asking
Kinsey is
you-
going
I'm
to tell
asking
me that
you,
I was
what
doing
do
it
they
wrong.
do- How do they know that the skull has been crushed?
Baby, we have eyes. I'm telling you, we put it
And then
under
what?
a light
And then what do
in
they
a
see?
laboratory and we look. And
Well,
what
then
does
what
this
do
even
they
matter?
see?
We see fetal parts.
Nope, not from the skull.
Okay.
How do they know that the skull has been
I
crushed?
don't know, Kinsey. I've only done it for 30 years. Why don't you tell me what
Why
I
do
saw?
you need to educate
I don't
you on your
remember
own
what I saw,
profession?
Kinsey. Why don't you tell me what I saw?
Okay, I will. And you have to say, Kenzie, can you please educate me?
Kinsey, can you please educate me?
There's a certain color of liquid that they would see coming out of the uterus, which would be what color? Do you know, Miss? I've done this for 6 months.
That is such bullshit. I don't even know what you're talking about. I did a DNC. Yes, I literally did a DNC yesterday, and
Well, I'm
I
praying
get
for you.
amniotic fluid that's clear, and I get blood that's red. There is no other fluid in the uterus. The brain of the fetus is not big enough to be identified. So I don't know what you're trying to get at, but you're weird.
I'm weird, and yet you're the one that likes to dismember children. Interesting.
I like to perform healthcare.
Yeah, and I think we define the word children
you-
differently.
So then, this is what I was asking Oscar.
Yeah, I told
earlier.
you, children have a different blood flow pattern than fetuses do. So
Awesome,
I
thank
don't
you
like
for
to
that.
dismember children. I like to
Okay,
dismember
Oscar.
fetuses.
Okay, Oscar, can you answer the question that I asked you earlier?
You don't like it when Val answers your questions?
I mean, I'll ask her, but she's already answered it the first time, so I wanted to know
Well,
what your
okay, you can ask me a question, but I am going to just take a quick moment to thank Tavi for $2 on YouTube Super Chat for saying W's for this OBGYN. Thank you, Val. W's in the chat for Val, but also for Melanie for sending me $5 on Venmo. What does Melanie have to say now? Melanie says, why is Kenzie concerned about the racism of Margaret Sanger and not the racism of the formerly alive Charlie Kirk? Yeah, we could go there if we wanted to. That's a whole other thing. But Patrick also sent me $5 on Venmo and said, so she's not going to support Planned Parenthood. No, I don't think she is, because apparently she's not racist, even though she supports Charlie Kirk. Ugh, not making any sense to me. Anyway, sorry, Kenzie, what's your question?
So supporting Planned Parenthood wouldn't necessarily make you racist, just as me supporting Charlie Kirk would make me racist, right?
I support the Constitution, and the
Did
fuckers that
Charlie
wrote that
Kirk
thing
said-
are very racist. So, like, yeah, it's complicated.
I've got-
There's
I've got-
historical
Charlie
racism
Kirk
is
said
bad.
I couldn't be a doctor. So
Oscar, I have two questions.
Charlie
for
Kirk
you.
said I couldn't be a doctor because of my skin color. He was a bigot and a racist.
Awesome, thank you for that. I appreciate that comment. That's irrelevant to what we're talking about. Oscar, can you answer the two questions, please?
Sorry, what were the questions again?
So the first one was, do you think that we should have laws that protect the lives of patients in our country?
Yeah.
Do you think those laws should also apply to people who weren't born in the United States?
Yeah.
Then I would argue that those laws should also apply to patients who weren't born in the United States yet, because we are
No.
diagnosing-
So remember that
Really?
thing about suffering and sentience? We had a whole section in this call where I talked about like
Please let me
the
finish my
phenomenological
sentence.
experience of the suffering person. Like
So
that's what
you're
I'm worried
either
about.
going to let me finish
It's
my sentence
people
or
people
continue?
who were born in other countries can suffer, but people who have not been gestating for more than 24 weeks cannot. That I draw the line in the same place. It's the same. We already talked about this.
Okay, awesome. So let me finish what I was saying then, because you interrupted me. We are diagnosing, treating, and curing babies in the womb as patients. I'm sure the OBGYN can mention that too as well. So if you think that we should have laws and keep the laws that we do have that do protect the lives of patients in our country, and if those laws should apply to patients not born in the United States, they should also apply to patients not born in the United States yet, because we are
Well,
diagnosing.
I think to clarify. Wait, no. Let me. I just want to get my point out on this before I'll give you the floor. Excuse me, Kenzie. I am just gonna talk over you because you're just yapping at this point. Okay, so specifically, I think that all people who are already born need to have this patient care, this concern about their suffering and safety. I think that not all people who are unborn should have that concern for a bunch of reasons, but the big one is that a bunch of them can't suffer, which is why I don't value that yet. So the question
You
isn't
don't
a simple.
support fetal therapy.
The question isn't a simple yes or no for people who aren't born yet. It is a simple yes for people who are born, regardless of what country they came from. That's just irrelevant. But yeah, that specifically is my pattern. So you're not going to get a solid yes or no out of me for unborn people because it's blurry. You know, it's a
I
no.
haven't gotten a solid yes or no from you about anything we've talked about.
I
Like,
have
when
a
last
solid
week,
yes or no for her
support
if I
fetal
can
therapy.
respond.
Go ahead, Val.
I want him to respond.
So, fetuses do not have autonomy. So, if you have a fetus
Never
that's
made the
living
claim that they
inside
do.
of a person,
Never made
that
the claim that they
person
do.
has bodily autonomy because
Never
that
made the claim
person
that that was a
can take
thing.
in their own oxygen. That
I never
person
brought
can
up
take in their
bodily
own
autonomy.
nutrients. That person can eliminate their own
Oh,
waste.
he's crashing out.
That person can make decisions and think and feel. And if something inside of it cannot do those things, that thing inside of them does not have the same rights as the person that is outside.
So you're arguing bodily autonomy in the case of pregnancy? Just confirming.
I'm an atheist, so that's the only argument that I use is
Why are
bodily.
you bringing religion into this? You did this earlier.
Because
No
the
one's talking
only
about religion.
reason, the only other reason that you think this fetus has a life is because of religion. You can admit it or not admit it, but that's the only reason. I don't care whether it has a life or not. It's not autonomous.
Because you want to
And
lie
the
from every
person
day. We
and
know.
the person
Ooh, she's crashing out.
outside of the fetus.
Kenzie,
Yo,
if you're not
Outside of the fetus has bodily autonomy. So
Anyone
they
in the
trump
chat that agrees
the
with me.
person inside.
We just got a liberal doctor to crash her out. We did it. We did it, guys.
I'm actually just gonna kick her for playing
Why?
music
Because
on my
you're
show.
so fucking rude that I have to yell. That means I'm crashing out.
I kicked her. Thank you so much, Val. You still there, Val? You're muted now. Yeah, Kenzie might just be a troll, but if she's a troll, she's she's a traitor to her gender either way, right? Like whether or not she believes all that nonsense. I mostly kicked her because the show's over, but I also just didn't want the. Oh. Of course I'm muted. Silly me. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I was muted because my dog's barking. I kicked Kenzie for playing music on my show. Sorry about that, everybody. The show is coming to an end anyway, but yeah, I just don't want the guest soundboarding. Now I'll probably have to deal with a YouTube copyright strike on that one, so that little section will get cut out. Sorry for being muted, but I was also thanking you, Val, for hopping up and participating in that. Wait, are you muted? Did I mute you? You're unmuted. Val, if you're still there.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna hop down. Thanks for having me, and I'll be in the comments.
All right. Oh, thank you so much. Sorry, I was a little distracted there, but always excited to meet new friends, Val. I hope to see you again. I'll come check out some of your stuff. And I'll thank Chewy Salazar, who sent me $3 for absolutely embarrassing Kenzie. And I think that's gonna be the show today. Kenzie, you're welcome back anytime. I would love to keep talking about how you're a traitor to your gender, but do not play music on my show. That's against the rules. Anyway, everybody else can go to the link tree in my bio to find different ways to support the show, because you can follow me for free on the other platforms. Doesn't cost a dime, but it helps me immensely. If you have a dime you want to spare, you can send it to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon, and that helps me, not have to work a job, because I don't, other than doing this. So, yay! Things forthcoming. Full-time now, so Sunday evening stream, not this Sunday, but like maybe the week after that I'll start. I'm going to start doing a non-debate stream in the evenings, a weekly news roundup and some FAQ stuff, kind of just like friendly stuff like that. And I also have some more journalistic projects that are still in the pipeline because I've been working on some stuff. That Savannah Hernandez thing is still cooking away. I've been working on that video, but I really do have a lot more time to just dive in on some of these more journalistic things that I want to do these days because I've been able to switch over to full-time. So thanks, everybody. And thanks, everybody who's new today, because I know we kind of had a weird stream today. But I can't wait to see if I'm bleeped on the recording. That'll be interesting to see. Anyway, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. 10 to 12 Central Standard Time is when I run the show. Not Central Standard Time, Central Daylight Time. I need to get in the habit of just saying Central Time. 10 to 12 Central Time. Monday through Thursday next week, it'll be 1 p.m. as it was today, just because those are my last days at work. My day job, which I've quit. So after Thursday, we get to talk about what my job was and how cool it is that I got to quit it to do this and all that stuff. And Debbie's in the chat for the mods, because the mods seriously make it happen. And I mean, the donors and the mods, I couldn't do it without either of those groups, and both of them are putting in the effort to make the Oskar Quentin show happen. So if you like the Oskar Quentin show, you have them to thank. I'll see you guys tomorrow right here on TikTok Live and on YouTube. Oh my God. Now here's the end of the show where Oskar randomly clicks around, scrambling to stop everything from streaming and recording.